What should I do? I should go and sit on the minority seat? Spiritually, it's not even good. You have 3 weeks to election. I should go and sit on minority. Is that my seat? I won't dare sit there. I will never do it. I will never do it. That's not my rightful place. I should go to minority. Spiritually, make myself a minority person. No. And bind my colleagues. We won't do that. No MPP person will do that. In any event, we were privy to certain things that we cannot make public. That if our colleagues had entered the chamber to attempt to enforce their rights, perhaps we wouldn't be here. So in fact, we are decent-minded people. Yes. We respect the courts. We respect the law. Our doors are open to Mr. Speaker's call. I repeat, our doors are open to Mr. Speaker's call. Political decisions are for common sense approach. We believe in a common sense approach in solving this. And the common sense approach is for Mr. Speaker to direct the NDC side to go back to their seats.
I don't want to follow procedure and law. Mr. Speaker, don't be tempted, Mr. Speaker. Don't be tempted. The law he relies on sits on stilts. I repeat, there's a proper petition. Let's wait for its admissibility. Because that has been done by a lawyer who knows the rules. Harun Edrisu is a respected lawyer. And we know that. Yes. This is a lawyer's rule. You know that. This is done by a lawyer. If it's issues about tax and economics, I will yield to Atufosin. On this occasion, it's law. It's law. So let's go by the Harun Edrisu petition. That is the right procedure. But even so, that petition will be caught by the court process. You cannot proceed. You should know this. And you want to mislead, Mr. Speaker. My duty as a leader of government business, my duty as a majority leader, my duty as a majority leader is to guide, Mr. Speaker. I remain so. It will not change today. It will not change tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, this process has been duly filed. I have the writ with me. Not only the writ, it's not a naked writ, it's not a lame writ, Mr. Speaker. I also have accompanying the writ a motion on notice for interlocutory injunction, which is also attached to it. The process, Mr. Speaker, has been duly served on Parliament, as I'm made to believe. Mr. Speaker, I am of the view that this is not a matter that anybody can just get up and say that by virtue of a member filing a process to say that I am going to contest in a future election as an independent candidate, automatically I have lost a seat. Mr. Speaker, let me take members back to memory lane. In the 1960s, the First Republic, where, Mr. Speaker, there was cross-carpeting in Parliament, 69 Constitution and 79 Constitution safeguarded the process where political parties were to be protected, and 1992 Constitution also adopted that provision. Mr. Speaker, it is therefore important for members to understand that practically you cannot say that once a member belongs to a caucus and has not resigned his membership of the caucus, the mere fact that he has filed to participate in future elections and their different tickets, he is caught by a certain provision of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I hold my view. I've heard other views contrary to this. That is the more reason why we require patience for this matter to be properly determined by the courts. We require patience for this matter to be properly determined. Somebody cannot say that, oh, there is a certain precedence. So relying on that precedence under Order 93, Mr. Speaker should just make a declaration. Mr. Speaker, this application, so-called, is leading you into a certain valley of confusion. It's a trap being set for Mr. Speaker for his long years in legal practice. Yes, because you simply want Mr. Speaker to make a declaration which will have far-reaching consequences. In any event, a man must be heard. The rule, all the ultram partem rule, the rule is clear. A man cannot be brought to judgment unless he's been heard. If you claim, then it was bad law.
I will continue to correct you. Stop misreporting. I am the majority leader. Don't say, you've been saying it consistently, and I've been correcting you. The court has pronounced. Stop describing me as leader of MPC.
Come back.
Say the right thing.
There you have it. Alexander Penyomaki. I'm clearly not happy with the description. With the description that's been widely reported in the media as leader of the MPP caucus. According to him, he still remains the majority leader.
Yes.
And there's been no set.
The speaker made the court has but once a court has made a pronouncement to restore the status quo, don't say that I am saying. You, as a reporter, there have been 2 rulings confirming that. So don't continue to describe me as leader of MPP. Is that okay? Don't tell the public that I am claiming and that you don't know what it is. Unless you don't know why you are being caught.
I know why I'm being caught.
No. So can you clarify?
Yeah, but I've mentioned it clearly.
That what?
That you are the leader of the MPP of the House. And even the Speaker of Parliament. So,
The case, which seeks to prevent the removal of 4 MPs due to their decision to go independent in the upcoming December 7th election, was initially adjourned on October 30. Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu had previously instructed the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to submit relevant documents by Wednesday, November 6th. This followed a request by the Speaker's lawyer, Thaddeus Sori, for additional time to consult with the Speaker and gather the necessary instructions. However, during the hearing on Monday, November 11th, Speaker Bagbin's lawyers did not file any legal documents and there was no legal representation present, prompting a strong disapproval from the Attorney General. Here is Joe Gatti speaking to the media after proceedings.
In the business of, I'm not a seer. I'm not a business of preempting the decision of the court.
Let you come back.
So, the decision of the court
we are still majorities.
That all of us will be alive tomorrow to listen to what the court will say. That's it.
Majority Leader in Parliament Alexander Penyomaki is accusing Speaker Bagbin of frustrating parliamentary umpire's mediation efforts.
Some of the NDC guys are trying to suggest that expressing my view on his conduct amount to disrespect. Let me say it clear that I will be the last person, I repeat, Kwamena Penyomaki, will be the last person to disrespect Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker should not think that he's a king. He's an emperor. He's not an emperor. He's a Democrat. Therefore, he shouldn't be too sensitive to divergent views and opposing views. What he's doing, in all humility, is wrong. So my friends in the NDC should open their eyes and ask themselves, if they were the ones at the receiving end, how would they react? The NDC would have raised hell on this matter. But we have been calm. I don't just jump the gun. I don't just get up to say things. MPP in Parliament is bleeding. We have gone through too much hell in the hands of Mr. Speaker. We just don't talk about it. We've managed the situation for far too long. And at this point, we would call on him, Mr. Speaker, that let us end the 8th Parliament on a very happy and a very good note. Let's work together.
So the Supreme Court has deferred its ruling on the vacant 4 parliamentary seats as counsel for the Speaker, Thaddeus Sori, and his team failed to show up in court today and also didn't file their statement of case by November 5th, 2024, as instructed by the Chief Justice the last time it sat. And so the case has been deferred to tomorrow, Tuesday, November 12, 2024. From the Supreme Court premises, Michael Addo reporting for Metro News.
The case which seeks to prevent the...
You know, the idea of asking for a stay of execution of a ruling of the Speaker, there is really no legal basis for a stay of execution of a ruling of the Speaker. The court, the Supreme Court and other courts, have the authority to stay execution of decisions within the court system.
Okay.
But you don't apply for a stay of execution of something that happens within another arm of government, which is the arm of the Speaker. Now, the impression was given that because this is a matter for interpretation and so on, therefore you can run to the court. But again, there are clear decisions of the courts themselves, including the Supreme Court, decisions which make it absolutely clear that you don't, under the guise of interpretation, take to the Supreme Court things that are within the preserve of other courts or other authorities in the system. Very clear decisions. And I think we have to have a little law class here because, because I like some of these passages from the decisions of the Supreme Court itself, you know, to be laid out for all of us to look at, because all of us have a responsibility to protect what is in the Constitution. The Supreme Court is not a law unto itself, fortunately. Neither is the Speaker a law unto himself. We all have responsibilities. So when, well, definitely, in many respects, in fact, as I will try to perhaps explain if there is time, it erred in multiple respects. As I said, in the first respect, just running and saying there's a matter of interpretation, therefore Supreme Court, I'm before you, is not acceptable. The courts have said in many cases, there's this case, for instance, Eduamwa and Chum, where it was stated, Aqua, the Justice of the Supreme Court, as he then was, makes the point that all courts, tribunals, institutions, and all individuals are bound by the provisions of the Constitution in the adjudication of disputes before them. In summary then, whereas the original jurisdiction to interpret and enforce the provisions of this Constitution is vested solely in the Supreme Court, every court and tribunal is duty-bound or vested with jurisdiction to apply the provisions of the Constitution in the adjudication of disputes before it. And this jurisdiction is not taken away merely by a party's reference to or reliance on a provision of the Constitution. So just running to court and saying, Supreme Court, I want you to interpret such and such for me, does not mean that the Supreme Court should go ahead and do that. The Supreme Court has to decide whether it has jurisdiction. And I'll give you another example of something, yes, but the court itself has made it clear that that does not take away the responsibility of others to apply the Constitution. You know, every institution, every court in the land applies the Constitution. In applying it, they have to understand it. They have to interpret it in that sense. So the courts have made it quite clear that when you talk about the exclusive jurisdiction to interpret, it is not everything about some provision of the Constitution that leads to the requirement of interpretation. You know, the idea of asking for a stay of execution of a ruling of the Speaker, there is really no legal basis for a stay of execution of a ruling of the Speaker. The court, the Supreme Court and other courts, have the authority to stay execution of decisions within the court system.
Okay.
But you don't apply for a stay of execution of something that happens within another arm of government, which is the arm of the Speaker. Now, the impression was given that because this is a matter for interpretation and so on, therefore you can run to the court. But again, there are clear decisions of the courts themselves, including the Supreme Court, decisions which make it absolutely clear that you don't, under the guise of interpretation, take to the Supreme Court things that are within the preserve of other courts or other authorities in the system. Very
being a party to the suit in my official capacity, I am mindful of what I say. But it must be said, the suit before the Supreme Court raises not just legal questions, but more importantly, has profound implications for our democratic system of governance. At its core is the very essence of our democracy. While many legal arguments have been advanced in and out of the court, I recognize the fact that connected political and governance implications have not been addressed sufficiently to enrich the national discourse. It is my considered view this should also be vigorously articulated to give a holistic approach to resolving the issue. As one of the protagonists in this matter, and a long-time practitioner, it will be a disservice not to respectfully draw your attention to some of the facts, principles, and ethics of politics and governance, the practice and procedures of Parliament, and what is generally referred to as parliamentary law, to throw light on some aspects of the matter and to clarify the considerations that underpinned my actions. The current brouhaha may be likened to a power play between the arms of government and has the potential to undermine our democracy and the authority of Parliament. Its outcomes could subvert Ghana's constitutional order and the democratic system. Ghanaians have toiled, sacrificed their lives, and shed blood to establish for decades. Ladies and gentlemen, recent acts of the judiciary and executive, and I see them as interference in the workings of Parliament, pose a direct challenge to the essence, jurisdiction, authority, powers, and functioning of the esteemed institution of Parliament.
By court, in a majority decision of 5-2, Lovelace Johnson JSC and Amadou Tanko JSC dissenting on the issue of jurisdiction, the plaintiff's action succeeds. The full reasons and orders of the court shall be filed with the registrar by close of day tomorrow, 13th November 2024. This is the judgment of the court.
When people do wickedly, they say go to court because they know the court has become toothless. Their hands are tied. They know what is right to do, but they dare not do it. Judgment never goes forth. Those who have money, they're the ones that carry the judgment. And so even when you are being cheated and they're using that on your head, they say, go to court. You shouted, they say, go to court, stop talking. Why are they so bold? Why are the wicked saying we should go to court? Because the court is in their pockets. And the wicked, they compass the righteous everywhere. As if to say, we have told you, we are not about righteousness now. We have taken over. Whatever you know, whether it's right, keep it to yourself. We are in charge. Is there anybody like Habakkuk in Nigeria? Are there preachers who understand that we are now in a terrible situation? Are there pastors who are not just concerned about their pocket and about their stomach and about their big name? Who are concerned that we are entering into a difficult time?
Popo Bribri is a word etymologically derived from two Ga words. Popomo, to shake body, the body shaking. Bribri means violently or vigorously. Now, so Popo Bribri is the vigorous, violent shaking of the body. And this is done by evil spirits. Because human beings created in the image of God, you can't just be in that condition. If you go to Mark's Gospel, chapter 1, verse 26, similar thing, it happened to the man, the demoniac, when the evil spirit shook him violently, and Jesus cast that out. Now, the one who was threatening to kill president is a psychiatry, mental, so he's going to psychiatry hospital. Now, these are people who are being controlled by demons, evil spirits. Instead of bringing them to the ministers, the pastors, so that they cast that out, you are insulting the pastors. Now, should we allow demon-possessed people to come and rule and take charge of our society?
The decision of the Ghanaian voters
What we are going to do now, we are setting up for the dominancy area, beyond dominancy, to see who is polluting the river. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going beyond dominancy to its environment, Banso and its environs, to see who is polluting the Ankobra River.
particles, it doesn't mean that the water is safe for use. Many of the indigents do not know. When we got to Atrebuanda, close to the Pra River, same issues. They buy aluminium sulfate. It's sort of like you're buying tomatoes from a shop. And that's what the women use to settle the water, and they use it for domestic chores. Look at the implications, the health implications, and many of them do not even know. And across the country, every major river or stream, just mention the name and I'll tell you, because we've tested samples from them, and they are all polluted. A country with all its freshwater sources, highly polluted. And that's what we have across the country. I can't even talk about the forest reserve.
We've been riding on this boat for the past close to 2 hours, over 40 miles from the estuary at Ankobra itself. This place is close to a town called Anwulezo, and you can see over there, there is a washing bay, gold washing bay, just in the middle of the Ankobra River. And you could see 2 champagne machines, one here, the other one over there, sitting directly on the riverbed, polluting it. And we are just about an hour from here to a town called Banso. What makes you sad on this trip?
Okay, and what makes me sad is that I've been hearing it. They have been telling me, but actually I've not been in this situation before. I've not traveled far on this Ankobra River before. But what I've seen or what I've witnessed now tells me that we need to be, very serious on what is going on, because it's very bad. I was not expecting it in this way. You can see that at some place, even the boat can only pass only one side. All those places have been seized up because of the washing of the area of the Galamsey. So imagine if there are some fish and so on over there, they are going to die. So in fact, I'm very worried about what I've seen today.
To the mining repository, Ghana Mining Repository. This is the 2009-2016 record from Professor Mills to John Mahama. The issuance of small-scale mining leases. Only 56. 56.
In 8 years.
In 8 years. I decided to do same for 7.5 years. This is it. You see how fat it is. You see how fat it is.
How many?
1,503. 56 against 1,503. Same period.
Where did you get this document?
Yes, this is a download from the Ghana repository, the Ghana Mining Repository.
Maybe
the
gold prices are encouraging
What
more
is going on? Look at how thick it is. Look at how thick. Over 1,500. This year alone, they've done 70. Just 2 months, they've done 38.
Of new licenses?
New licenses.
By your friend?
So what's going on? What's going on?
The one you have.
You are 20. This is approved by the Minister for Lands under the law.
Okay.
Yes, you go through the mining
commission. They don't give license.
Yeah, they don't give.
The license is by the minister.
It's by the minister. Acting.
The minister responsible. That's the law.
Yes, that's the law. Really?
Mining, yes, mining leases.
Can you believe that?
Issued by the minister.
1,503.
The Minerals Commission don't issue licenses.
No, they will make recommendations. No, they make recommendations. You know, 1,503. This is it against 56
new licenses.
New licenses. Can you believe that? And you see,
no, but if they were all engaged in ethical mining,
they are not. There will be nothing wrong. But we know they are not.
Therefore, I have Galamsey site. Galamsey site for occasion I might go a hard in Papa. Person I more ebre. Galamsey site say almost draining soon be a good chain. Into person I one ebre a form ho. Say Omukunkum one na a more in a woo that you be a ding. Yenchim banden on bay.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's the Thursday, the 14th day of November, 2024. By His grace, we're alive and we're here with yet another edition of this show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Public split over Parliament impasse. Majority rates legislature poor. Others rate average and good. Graphic poll. 2 modern markets inaugurated in Techiman and in Kranza. Local government minister urges good maintenance. Border security experts seek effective measures for sub-region. Petroleum hub project will create job opportunities. Project boss. The Ghanaian Times. Protecting Ghana's democracy. Guard free speech and rule of law. Professor Haynes. Chief Justice orders reopening of 4 courts in Upper East Region. YE Fisheries Commission, military partner to train youth in fish farming. Ghana earns $800 million through carbon trading. President announces. Daily Guide. Bawumia meets Catholic bishops. Non-partisan approach needed to fight terrorism. Kandapa. Ejuraman declares support for VIP. AG files Salifu Amwaku and wife trial papers. The New Crusading Guide. Ekufuado calls for action at COP29. Passion Air leaves passengers shocked. Allegations of extortion by staff in a letter. Sefi Anyaso Traditional Council slams Asidun Ketia a false statement against Paramount Chief. Brian Achampon advocates for climate resilient agricultural practices in Ghana. Anas Armiya Anas Excellence Awards held at UDS. NPP offers superior economic policies. Richard Ayagba. The Insight. NPP wants USA. Election 2024 open to manipulation. Care. Ghana raises alarm over EC's withholding of voter statistics from stakeholders. IMF upgrades Russia to world's fourth largest economy amid Western sanctions. Arise for Change blasts Bawumia over failure to tackle CD decline and economic hardship. The Confederation of Sahel States and their struggle against neo-colonialism. The Daily Statesman. Our policies are superior. NPP Communications Director declares. Ghana to host Africa Oil Week next year. Professor Haynes. Ghana's democratic success rooted in religious unity. NPP National Treasurer campaigns in Volta region. Daily Post. Lodina Foundation inaugurates yet another maternity and children's ward. Congratulations, well done to the foundation. Fact check. Bawumia's claim that Ghana has achieved zero hunger false. Bawumia in another horrendous lie. His advert claims free SHS has benefited 5 million students. Statistics shows total enrollment the past 7 years is 3.1 million students. And that's about it. For the front pages, we'll be back shortly.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
With license. Now we are mate.
Adam Bajan, I'm a mate. Tamana me mate, and my master estimate the car and mammy. Me you good sales. My master in your baby and say my year sales da.
Nti e dia ben foforo na o de eba.
Oh madam, say say dia me pese me fa abe for kwan fa so e di djuma. Na ka kire passengers no ama omo di omo momo etu omo lorry fare. Na afi so mama omo de omo Ghana card na to ticket online.
E adi papa. And I told so. Ubeti yenka.
Bacho you. With us.
Next. What license?
Bacho, yeah, Jimmy license. 2016.
You're frozen.
John.
Ah, John, who be you? Ejuma iwa ye bida. Na we're driving enye. Ebe na passengers for no omo ejiwe dibiu. Wait to be driving.
Bacho I. Na omo say
Se minya edwuma no a omo bema me lances no enfie 9 pe yo na de ben foforo na wode ba masesa obati yenka
mo vote beka sa 7 December to Abama Baomia na enwuma ye enkoso toche se de ye die ne puntuo beba obi abrabo eye sro ho eye number 1.
Look around. Home also need a makeover. Mine clearly does. So we went to Ashroom and found the Como collection. It had everything we're looking for and more. Merchant furniture for the entire home, designed with you in mind.
Where's Como collection? Dressing up is just a breeze. Always ready with a perfect accessory.
A magic dressing mirror. One look and you're ready to face the world. Or at least the kids.
A bed perfect for young men who want
a table that turns into a treasure chest.
And finally, a sofa with this grand TV unit for family time at home.
Head over to any Ashform store now and discover the new Como collection. Ashform, feel it, know it.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia, #1 on the ballot.
Here's Kwame and Yao. After hours of planning, both have locked in the same perfect multi-bet. Big win for United, over 1.5. And both teams to score in the London Derby. But who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the Bridge? There's nothing worse than having your perfect multi-bet missing. But there's nothing better than having it saved. Bet saver, win, even if your bet misses.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oyiwa. Enye mo ko. Give us JC mixture and the capsules. Aye num bom. Enho asem na mo kana. Ebua emma ene meme nyina. Na ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya, we be bua wuku. Ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum. Na wanyinya nanim te sese ne oyi chokmo na. Give us GC mixture and a capsule. Achesa.
A pay for a batter, one more menu for one and Kwada when you feel to me.
Dr. Baumia once said in a church.
Since 2014 in India, they have a policy to only build concrete roads because it works out much cheaper. So I said, well, let me bring this to my bosses, and we have been discussing this as recently as last week in Parliament. And Bishop Dag, I'll let you into it. Cabinet did decide last week that we should move towards concrete roads as a country.
Where are the concrete roads? It was all lies. You trust this man at your own peril. Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
Apomode wonsem yemfen diagro. Enunti nese wonum edopapa nko. Exodus moringa capsules. Any Exodus dandelion capsules. Efi Exodus ebusuyanum. Na ebeboa wa pomode. Emu bia wo benya no betimi aboa. Nanso, se wonye to no a, wo betimi andom abo. Na ebeboa papa. Se wonum Exodus moringa capsules, ne Exodus dandelion capsules. Eboa mamoja di efusani yie. Na afei, ebusi wo immune system no. Na akwatia yarewa ahodo. Menim yie se nipa dodo na nim dia moringa etimi ye. Na dandelion so ye nim. Eno nti
menkasa bebre enye ma pemfo ana abatan a oma enifo ana abofra onya emfidumi Exodus ehwo dance die dos.
You're the answer to my prayers. You're with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know. Tonight.
John, mema wakwaba.
Yeah, say.
Alaji, mema wakwaba.
Yeah.
John, I had a bro, one on them.
I really am a gun 19 and Menamo, and America can be Jano. Don't know anything about Masaba.
Alaji, I had a bro.
Yo, me da say. Moamonim, Tamana Amawa, which you Mumiana Name Bobo and a Kakra. As I say, dear, my crowd say, me person me be warino. Namiko CSL. Na me man sign Jinan na Subium, no ye crabeshe.
Yo, I was not for yes, Empa. Yo, I'm a Ghana. What's wrong?
Mean to me, ain't sanity. Your bread baby, I would have fair way. A man who be meant to me beauty. Forward ever, backwards never.
John, wo okwanya wo de me very fast. Ahokyere ekom dum so. Hwɛ me nana no mi. Ya free set si abaya. Come anya school anko. Ena hwɛ ya o ma ye fe.
Ase o ma se sambe hye obo. Sa ahomache tu okro kokra. Meko band, na makwa ko yiska. E de abra magana. Na mabɔ ne dwetire ama na starting kokon ketenkete.
Hey!
Akunta, you are still incompetent. 2% outside the Mammy Abrabo, a 2 chacha to say aviator. There be a muscle.
Alhaji has also promised us jobs through digitalization. A Jumambe Bushise.
Alhaji dear, Metanasua, Nemasore, a Miribia Mecania Besano, with me talk and near light when you phone so, a mammy, baby, our Nambia. Yo, Amagana, and Yamin Meware amount. Alhaji ni, Jones ni, where choose.
No Ababa said. Alhaji number 1.
Alhaji number one.
Esuro.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luckiest everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a package when you have to come out. Wallah. Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man. Good
luck. Okay, wait here. We are star 712. Put your phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now wait me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and bio.
With your body,
Hey,
Dema, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Dr. Baumian once said,
the economy is going to grow and grow and grow, and we will have jobs and jobs and jobs. This is the economy of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
The unemployment rate, which stood at just 8% in 2016, has hit an all-time high of 15%. The latest 2024 Afrobarometer indicates that unemployment is the biggest problem facing the nation. You trust this liar at your own peril. Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing. But nothing better than having it saved. Bet Saver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And it's been an awesome journey with Momo from MTN. It's been 15 years of ease, safety, and convenience. This is definitely worth celebrating. That's why the Momo at 15 Rewards is here with amazing cash prizes to say thank you. Send money to an MTN Momo user or make payments to an MTN Momo merchant at no cost whatsoever, only on MTN. So go on, download my Momo on the App Store, Play Store. To enjoy this, just Momo it everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply. And Kel 360 toothpaste is that toothpaste that provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. And so if you're thinking of getting a toothpaste that will take care of the entire family and save you some money, the recommended family toothpaste is Kel 360 toothpaste, which is also approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. It's good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using Kel 360 toothpaste. It brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. It's another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. Kel 360 toothpaste is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. You can reach Samara Company Limited on 0246 864 798. Kel 360 toothpaste, happy smile. Well, with me on the show this morning, I have a member of the communications team of the NPP and a resident and a voter in the Adentan constituency. Ernest Adade is here with me. Ernest, good morning.
Good morning.
Why are you in white? You won a coincidence? Oh, okay. Also with me on the show this morning is a legal practitioner who's also the National Communications Officer of the NDC. Sammy Jemfi is also here with me on the show. Sammy, good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
What are you celebrating?
Well, celebrating the impending victory of the nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
I see.
You know, God says that in all things we should give Him thanks. Things are tough today. Everywhere you go in Ghana today, people are lamenting the excruciating hardships they are going through. Life has become increasingly difficult. If you wake up in the morning and you have to buy a gallon of fuel at over 65 Ghana cedis, and you have to buy $1 at 17 cedis 20 pesos, you have to pay interest rate of over 35% all the way to 40% on monies you borrow from the bank. And you have to cope with a high inflation rate of over 22%. You have to cope with the several draconian tax measures that have been imposed on us by the Bawumia-led economic management team. Here I'm talking about COVID levy, boiler levy, emissions levy, e-levy, betting levy, and so on and so forth. Then you cannot but agree with me that times are tough. But once there is life, there is hope. And for those of us who believe in democracy, our hope is fortified by the fact that in the next 23 days, we'll be going to the polls. And that will be our opportunity as Ghanaians to either pass a vote of confidence or a vote of no confidence in this government that has plagued us in the last 8 years with their bad policies. And I have no doubt in my mind that majority of the Ghanaian electorate are going to vote for change, for us to see the transformation we all yearn for, because we cannot continue like this. There has to be a change. This nation has to be rescued. This nation has to be reset. And we have to restore the nation from the current abyss it finds itself, the current economic quandary, full of suffering, joblessness, hopelessness for the youth. We'll have to restore the country from that low point and restore it back to the path of true inclusive growth and prosperity for all. That is what gives me joy. That is what I'm celebrating. That is what we are all yearning for. A country where we will have a new leadership who sincerely care for us and who will judiciously apply the meager resources of state, not on the construction of swimming pools in the name of building cathedrals for God, not on wasteful ventures that provide no value to the citizenry, but on the productive sectors of the economy that can create jobs and prosperity for all of us. That is what I yearn for. Right. That is what I pray for. And traveling the length and breadth of Ghana, that is what I see Ghanaians demand. And so I am confident that we are going to see that change in the next 23 days. And that is something definitely to celebrate.
Okay. Now, Ernest, as I listen to Sammy and
your greetings.
No, as I
10 minutes
as I listen
5
to
minutes response.
As I listen to Sammy and I see you make notes. I've also been looking through the newspapers. Okay, and I see. I mean, what I'm going to put up will add up to the note you've taken. I've seen two stories in the Statesman newspaper. One is Baumia Mahama's record is one of the poorest. And the other one is NPP touts superior economic policies. They're on pages 2 and 3 of the Statesman. Okay. So I'm sure you agree with me that is in line with this.
All that Sammy had said, before anything, let me greet our viewers also. And sometimes when you listen to Sammy, you have to be careful, otherwise you get carried away, because he says what he is saying, even if it's a lie, confidently. He just said that. He mentioned the dollar rate today. As yesterday I was listening to news, that's what called my attention to this, because in the news, there was a reference to the dollar marginally dropping. And for that matter, whatever the gains are, as he was speaking, I just went to check. 16.28, he just quoted 17.20. And I wasn't surprised. Why am I not surprised, Doc? I'm not surprised because in 2024, when His Excellency, the former President John Dramani Mahama, is speaking on the campaign platform and he wants to reference inflation rate, he was talking about 2023 numbers that inflation is 54%, when in actual fact, 1 year on, he knows that he's been president before, he knows that inflation figures will never be static. And even as we speak today, as at the time he was speaking, it was like 21 point something. As we speak today, if you check, it's approximately 22. It's hovering around 22. But when he speaks, he references the 2023 numbers. And sometimes you get worried. You just referenced something in the newspapers. I did some analysis and I will repeat it.
I was going to read the story for you.
You can read the story, but it's the same thing.
Okay, all right, then fine.
The same thing. Yeah. In fact, when you are looking at the performance, we are trying to compare.
I would have loved it if you had read it so that we because I don't know about the story, so that I could, respond.
Okay, Doc.
So the first one on page 2 of the Daily Statesman, it says that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has reignited his challenge to former President Mahama for a public debate, criticizing the NDC leader for what he called a persistent avoidance of accountability. And he dismissed Mr. Mahama's recent claims that his administration had performed better than the current NPP government, and insisted that a public debate would give Ghanaians the opportunity to scrutinize and compare the achievements and failures of both administrations. Quote, during Mahama's presidency, we endured frequent power outages, and he made a controversial decision to cancel allowances for teacher and nurse trainees, which only worsened the economic hardship faced by many Ghanaians. Now, after everything he presided Akufo-Addo, he is seeking another chance to lead the country. He questioned Mr. Mahama's legacy, challenging him to highlight any impactful policy from his presidency. I've asked him to point to just one policy implemented during his time in office that truly made a positive difference, but he has refused to answer. In my view, his record remains one of the poorest in the Fourth Republic. And referring to Mr. Mahama's reluctance to engage in a proposed debate, Dr. Bawumia stated, if he believes his time in office was successful, he should step up the challenge. I invite him to a debate, but he ran away like a coward. He knows he can't defend his record. Okay, so that's it. And on page 3, Bright Philip Donko reports that the governing NPPs outlined his ambitious economic vision for Ghana, describing his 2024 manifesto as a detailed roadmap for economic stability and sustainable growth. And speaking at a press briefing yesterday at the party's headquarters in Accra, Mr. Richard Ahiagba, the NPP's Director of Communications emphasized that NPP strategies dubbed bold solutions would effectively transform Ghana's economy and enhance living standards. And he said the weight of the economic policies in the NPP manifesto surpassed the opposition NDC's plans. He underscored the party's commitment to leveraging digital technologies to drive economic competitiveness and job creation. He says the NPP's 2024 manifesto offers bold solutions for jobs and business. Its ideas are forward-looking, aiming to stabilize and grow the economy, leveraging the digital revolution to make Ghana competitive. The party's economic plans had received positive assessment from economic experts who described them as practical and capable of sustaining economic recovery. He credited a steady economic rebound to the policies implemented under President Akufo-Addo's administration, maintaining that Dr. Bawumia, the NPP's presidential candidate, would accelerate this progress. And he cited key achievements and projections, stating that Ghana's economic performance had exceeded expectations. The average growth of the first 2 quarters of 2024 is 5.8% and 6.9% respectively. The IMF projected 4% real GDP growth for 2024. But at this rate, the economy is on track to surpass that figure. And he revealed that Dr. Bawumia had planned to sustain and boost economic growth through strategic investments in agriculture, mining, digital hubs, sports, tourism, and creative industries. And he detailed sweeping tax reforms Dr. Bawumia intended to implement if elected. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Same thing I was coming to reference. His Excellency, the former president, is trying to compare. And Dr. Bawumia has given him the response that you were asking me for the last time. Is about the economy, stupid. You remember?
Yes.
And funny as it is, what did His Excellency, the former President John Dramani Mahama, inherit in terms of the economy? Or look at the NDC as a party. What did they inherit? And what did they churn out? What did they give back to His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo? That is what, when you are comparing, when you look at it from that angle, you will succeed. As at 2009, 7 January, when the NPP was handing over to His Excellency Atta Mills, he had 9.0%. That's what they received, he as the vice president and his boss. 9.0% of growth. These are Bank of Ghana data that you can reference.
What is 9.0?
Growth.
That Ghana grew
Ghana's
at 9%.
Growth that President Kufuor handed over to the NDC at that time.
In 2008.
In 2009,
9%.
as at 9.0%. It's on the Bank of Ghana website. You check. I have the data. I'm checking the data from here. That's why I'm very confident. By the time His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was handing over, and even if you want me to go back one step, Jerry Rawlings handed over a 3.7 growth to His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor. He fought, he went to HIPIC, he managed, did everything there is to do, looked for power, looked for fuel, whatever he needed to do. He stabilized the economy that was growing at 3.7%, and he moved it to 9.0%. This came to Jonathan Mills and his deputy, or his vice. By the time his vice was handing over to the people of Ghana, that is Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, it had dropped to 3.4, from 9 growth to 3.4.
Right.
Nana took it. Between January 2017 to 2019, we saw a rise. Up until the 2020, when COVID struck, we knew that the whole world, everybody went into a recession. So South Africa, somewhere along the line, hit, I think, negative 2.4 around the COVID time. We heard about the Germanys, the big economies that we thought were very stable. They hit all-time high inflations and all-time high low growth rates. We also went down. I'm using this to prove to you that these are better managers of the economy. We also went down, and we went as low in COVID as 0.5. Even though the IMF and the World Bank predicted negative numbers for most of the African countries, some went negative. We didn't. We got to 0.5. Within a year, check, it is still the Bank of Ghana data I am referencing. Within 1 year, we moved from the 0.5% and we hit 5. And then, as we speak, that's why I was referencing His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's campaign issue. As we speak, the Statistical Services of Ghana has told us that first quarter we grew at 4.7. Second quarter we are growing at 6.7. Third quarter hasn't come yet. But I am optimistic that no matter what the situation is, if you look at the gains that are happening now, there is no way you can compare the person who took what His Excellency the former president referred to as an economy that is a bone without meat, a bone that the whole meat had been stripped off it. The same economy that the government couldn't pay those statutory payments that they have to pay. Teachers' allowances that were there long before you came, you said you couldn't afford it. You can give all the excuses you are giving. You couldn't pay. The nurses, you couldn't pay. We had a worse situation, which is what every Ghanaian never forgets. You went into this bad doomsday thing. Unfortunately, the message has always been that, we went into doomsday because of what? It wasn't because of capacity for anything, as Sami would want to try to tell us. It was mainly because we did not have the funds to raise, the resources to raise just by fuel into these our generators to run them. And we went through all these crises because somebody took over. And I always say that His Excellency the former president is the only person who had a little more than 1 term to run. We all have 1 term plus 1. That is 4 years plus additional 4 years if Ghanaians agree. In his case, he had 4 years plus 6 months in one row. We expected that he could have done better because as at that time, there was no confusion anywhere in the world. Like the kind of crisis that we went into that ran the whole world into a recession. That's what His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is talking about. What ran the whole world into a recession? None that has ever been up until the 1930s, I think 1933, where we went into the Great Depression. We haven't experienced any such depression in the history of this country. We haven't. Unfortunately, when he had the opportunity and there was no problem, he left us a growth of 3.4. Dr. Bawumia, in the face of all the crisis. So when people begin to zero in on only one thing, we are talking about it is dollar. Yes, the dollar is moving. But I have always said that. What did he take over? What did he bring to this level? In fact, in terms of the economy, they are talking, Sami will reference debt. I want us to check the debt, also from the Bank of Ghana website. Debt. Look, Doc, I'll give you these details. His Excellency President Kufuor, before he left, he gave us a debt. I'm going to use the dollar one so that he will not say anything about it. President Kufuor took our debt, and as at the time he was leaving, we had 8 billion and 73.27 USD. 8 billion. Fast forward 2016, we had 29 billion. The highest ever in the history of this country until we are talking now. Highest. 28 billion from 8. 29 billion, sorry, from 8. That's some 21 point something billion in debt that he accumulated. 8 from Kwame Nkrumah to President Kufuor. That's what they say. I'm just using the words of the NDC, from Kwame Nkrumah to Atta Mills, from Kwame Nkrumah. So I'm giving from Kwame Nkrumah to President
Does
Kufuor.
the Bank of Ghana communicate to us our debt in cedis or in dollars?
So we have the CD too. They gave both. I took all these data.
I'm saying that the Bank of Ghana, when they communicate our debt, and they do the debt to GDP.
They do the dollar and they
please
do the
hold on.
CD.
When they, please. When the Bank of Ghana does the debt, it's not just the debt. They do the debt. That is what we use to calculate even debt to GDP.
Yeah.
For example, when we are calculating our debt to GDP, do we do it in US dollars?
You do it in cedis.
Yes.
That's why it communicates to you. But you know that part of the debt is held in dollar.
Yeah,
your Euro bonds and all those things.
Despite,
so I'll give you all. I'm giving you all. The data is all here.
I'm saying despite all that, when we are speaking about our debt to GDP, in fact, what sent us to the IMF had nothing to do with dollar.
So
the CD.
We are comparing the performance of two governments.
Yes.
And I am
so
not. I haven't come to the CD one yet.
Let's use the denominator.
I know where you are. I know where you are headed.
Let's use the denominator which is used.
So, Doc, I am giving you the dollar accumulation of debt. We'll come to the CD accumulation of debt. And I know where you are headed. You are headed towards the fact that then this government has taken the...
That's not the point I'm making.
No, I said I know where you are headed. No, I'm not saying that's what you are saying.
The classification.
So I'm giving you the dollar.
Hold on.
And I'm giving you the CD.
The growth rate in terms of GDP and all that, what you have been talking about, is it dollar related?
No, it's CD.
So why are you doing this dollar thing?
Why won't I do dollar?
I'm saying that, see.
Okay, when someone begins to speak and he begins to tell you that dollar is, he said what? 17.2. The question I would have asked him is, which is the most important for me as a Ghanaian? Do I spend dollar or I spend CD? I spend dollar to import things. And those ones, we have provided solutions. The math.
No,
just,
you're not
just
dealing with
using,
the issue.
Doc, you are veering me off. But what I'm saying is, I'm looking at the dollar accumulation of debt, because a lot of the debt, we take them in dollar. Then you come to the CD accumulation. Then when we come to the CD accumulation, that's where you are making reference to
determining
the exchange rate.
And as you know,
then
that
when you do
determining the health of this economy, all the indicators that are used, whether it is World Bank, is IMF, is the country itself, Bank of Ghana, Ministry of Finance, everything, is CD.
So, Doc, are you saying dollar no longer matters? Okay, so let's put the dollar conversation aside.
I have not said that.
I know that's where Sami would dwell. So if you rule out the dollar conversation,
please,
I am okay.
Please, I am saying that when you're dealing with a country's debt, you are dealing with the health of the country's economy, debt to GDP, all those things. It's done with CD. When they said that we were debt distress, they didn't do a dollar debt
and a CD debt.
They didn't do a dollar to determine it.
So
they use CD.
If you allowed me to end, okay, then let me jump to the analysis. Then I'll come to my conversation actually. Look, you are mentioning the fact that we are using CD, and I am saying that.
Not me mentioning. I'm saying that is what is done.
So I pray that Sami wouldn't refer to his dollar again. That's my prayer.
When the central bank
but let me go ahead.
When they tell us about debt to GDP, what do they use?
My question is, I am praying that Sami will not come telling the people of Ghana right now that they are buying dollar at 17.2, which is a lie anyway. But let us go forward. In terms of accumulation in percentage, so I'm not going to mention the figures. That's what is bringing the controversy. As at the time President Kufuor was handing over to the NDC, that is the MPP was handing over to the NDC, total debt accumulation by President Kufuor's era was 13%. So I've left then the details.
What are we going to use
at the time, and then, Doc, if we are doing a comparison of the strength of the economy. I gave you numbers that are telling you that. We handed over, we took over a 3.7 economy, a 3.7 growth. We have handed over a 9% growth, telling you that the NPP performed a miracle on a dying economy. Now the 9 moved, and by the time he was giving the 9 back to us, at least he should have given us our 9. And these conversations, I've said, they are NDC arguments. At least they should have given us the 9 back, then we will manage to push it up or downwards. Then you can talk. But he brought it from 9 to 3.4. That's the conversation we are having. When he took it to 3.4, now I am saying that somebody took a 3.4 in 2016. In fact, the 3. Actually, as at the 7th of December of January 2017, that Akufo-Addo is taking over, it had moved to 3.7. Somebody took the 3.7 through the thick and thin. As we are sitting now, he described the 3.5, the 3.4 as a meatless bowl. An economy that could not pay by power. You can't buy fuel into your own car. I mean fuel into the generators to generate power. An economy that could not pay teachers allowance. An economy that the free SHS, the northern one, I mean the old one, not the new one, Kwame Nkrumah's own, which a lot of the NDC MPs in parliament now who hailed from the north benefited from during his era. He couldn't pay and most of the schools were closing down. If you are telling me that economy is better than the economy that you are running now, when the national free SHS hasn't run into any challenges that schools have to close and the time they are to open, they are not opening, and the NHIS that you couldn't transfer the money and hospitals said they will not work. Those hospitals have not come back and now they are working. Every time I tell people that even if the medication you are giving is not covered under NHIS and therefore you have to buy it, nobody has to go home unattended to because he cannot afford the consultation. Because your NHIS guarantees your consultation. So if NHIS is working, and I am saying that compare the two economies, the two, one is heavily challenged in the world at a time when the whole world is in a recession, and then there is evidence to show. And then the one who governed at a time when the whole world was growing in growth, people were going up, and he was coming down. When you compare the two, which one should somebody go and vote for? And I am saying Dr. Bawumia's number one is the ultimate. That's what what you have read is telling you. And Doc, let me tell you, to end on this, I got to a point where I was going to tell you that if he is even talking about debt accumulation in the history of Ghana, Mr. Mahama, I don't mean the NDC era from 2009 to 2016. I'm talking about from 2012 to 2016. Our debt accumulation was 262%. 262%. Our debt accumulation under Mr. Mahama alone, that is between 2012. That is as at 2016 he was handing over. All I am saying is that, Doc, the accumulation of debt, when His Excellency Nana Addo took over, and you had a 29,203,083 in debt. When you had that money in debt, are you telling Nana Addo that he should say yentia? Is that what you are telling him? So the debt that you have accumulated, whatever you are calculating now, is the debt you have accumulated, plus the interest that you left for him to go and pay and the principal he is paying. It got to a time in our history where we have to go and borrow money to go and pay. So all I'm saying, I'm not saying the NPP is a saint and didn't borrow. But if you are pontificating...
Are you suggesting that under John Mahama, he didn't pay debt accumulated by the previous government?
So that's why I gave you the numbers he inherited. So that you will realize that the interest rate he has to pay, the principal that he might have to go and pay, is way less than the 28 billion you left Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So when he told us that we have chewed the meat and he's left with only the bone, and you gave the bone to somebody, I have never stood anywhere to say that we are better or Ghana is where it should be. But what I'm saying is, the bone is now gathering flesh. And that is what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia just said, that you gave me a dry bone. I gave it some moisture, and the bone is now gradually gathering flesh. So the police people you left, whose fridges were in the veranda there around Nima and things, at least, I'm not saying every policeman now has a place to sleep. But what I'm saying is that about 420 flats that have been built for them, I don't know how many people will live in one. But if even the 420 are now done, and 420 people are there, you have reduced that challenge. We have added small flesh to the bone. That's all I am saying. And what I'm saying is that, you see, when Sami comes to sit here, and he is behaving like the 16.28 that we are changing dollar now, is crazy. It's never happened before.
3.28. Where did you get that from?
It's from a Bank of Ghana rate. I just checked.
Bank of Ghana rate.
Oh, as he was speaking, I just checked.
No, I just needed the source. So it's a
I
Bank
just
of
picked
Ghana.
it from online.
Bank of Ghana.
Yes,
Okay,
I just picked it from online.
That's fine.
And all I am saying is that if this, he says, is like it's never happened in the history of Ghana before, at a time when we are in a recession, in his time, what did he take over? I said we are comparing.
Right.
So what did we give them? He who much is given, much is expected. So we gave him a 1.2 Ghana cedi to $1. He transformed the 1.2 to 4.2. No recession, no problems, no fighting. We just have to struggle with our own localized issues. Now you have an international issue. And he mentioned inflation. He knows the truth, and I know Mr. Mahama knows the truth, that when he was referencing 15.4 inflation as at that time, majority of the inflation was imported. He knows that, because we are importing so many things. We are importing virtually everything, and therefore...
Have we stopped importing?
No, that's all we are saying, that we are importing virtually everything. So when the inflation is happening in Germany, and you are bringing the German products, you are bringing their inflation because the prices have changed there. If the inflation is happening in the US and you are bringing the US products, you are importing some of their inflation. So are you suggesting
that inflation is 21 because the countries where we import from have managed the inflation?
Some of them have stabilized. Like the Chinese, we knew the problems that happened to the Chinese, where the things were going up, freight had gone up, this one had gone up, this one had gone up. So we knew that this is the situation there. Automatically, you the one who is not producing so much. And that's why Nanado said, let us attempt to reindustrialize this country. We used to be, Kwame Nkrumah started something. It was under the NDC regime, the same P into brackets plus the NDC, that we diversified. And
divested.
We did the divestiture implementation program under them. We sold close, I cannot even, I've even lost count. There were over 400 companies that were state-owned and that we could have done something about if they were there and they were even dying or they are about to die. When Anadu came, we didn't have to go and build new ones. But we
have we built new factories?
Oh, by all means, there's a program. You see, when people push me to that, I always say something. Just the idea that we should read.
I'm asking in relation to what you said.
I can mention 1, 2, 3. I can mention some. But what I'm saying is, somebody came with the idea. Let's go
I'm not talking about the...
No, what I am
I'm not talking about that policy. Because the impression you create is that the existence of state-owned industries is the way forward. And that somebody came to collapse that. And that if they had left that...
you see,
that's what you said.
No. I'm talking about 1D1F, and the program under 1D1F, everybody who knows the MPP's program and the MPP's ideology knows that the MPP is not going to go for state-owned. The MPP is going to go for empowering the private sector.
So why do you have a problem with divestiture? Because divestiture was from state to private.
So assume that all these companies that somewhere along the line we diversified and we pushed and died.
Pushed to private sector.
Yes.
Yes.
And they died.
Yes.
If even they were hanging somewhere, today when we came, as we are doing now, we look for people, put money into it, and let us go. And the MPP, that is our policy. Our policy, we said we are doing 1D1F. We never said that government is going to do what Kwame Nkrumah did. That's not what we said. We said that we are going to partner the private sector to reindustrialize this country. So that it was going to do a few things. One, at least import substitution. At least, if for nothing at all, these so many, fruit juices coming from South Africa, whatever, when we can grow mango in Somenya and grow some Akumada tomatoes for some tomato juice and grow some oranges somewhere, that would have come to help solve the problem. At least if it doesn't solve it, it will mitigate it.
So how well have we done the import substitution? How well have we done?
At least there is a beginning, there is a start. Let me tell you the start I always reference. Ghanaians used to say that, if you go in Ghana, we don't even manufacture matches. We don't even manufacture toothpick. And people are even proud to be saying that. But, Randy, if you are going to vote, you will vote for somebody, if for nothing at all. I can count 4 or 5 international, big car manufacturing companies that we were able to bring into this country. People say they are only assembling. It's a start. I believe it's a very good start. That at least we have these people who are ready to invest in our country. That confidence alone to bring his money from wherever the money is to come and invest in your country is good enough for me. And that is a good start. At least you have five.
Your answer to the issue of import substitution?
For me, I said, we know of this, is it a kumfi juice? If it comes and we are able to substitute 5%, 5% is more, 2%.
Now, what does the data
for a
say?
start.
Does the data suggest that we have done?
We haven't done. I will not come and sit here and say, oh, we have worked, we have done all 1D, 1F across the country. But I saw the president commission the Ekumfi. There is this factory somewhere in the Ashanti region. I have the video here. I've forgotten exactly which factory it is. We have seen some.
Do you know why I'm asking a question?
I've
listened to, let's say, the last 5 budget statements and State of the Nation addresses.
Yeah.
I've not heard anything, any achievement with respect to import substitution on the basis of 1D, 1F from government.
I haven't.
Either from the budget or the State of the Nation address or from the numerous press engagements that we've had. Either the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance or government itself.
So, Doc, I am saying that just for me, just the idea that let us re-industrialize so that at least if for nothing at all, we will be able to substitute those things we can. I'm not saying Ghana should begin to manufacture Apple phones by now, but if we can convince Apple that putting a factory in Ghana, like the Chinese did, it's not out of place. The Chinese did exactly that. They managed to even move majority of the manufacturing because they said, we are providing you with free labor, cheap labor, we are providing you with A, B, C. And the Chinese did that and managed to get the companies there. There is a government that came in Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo who said that, I will do that. I will provide the enabling environment for people to want to invest in Ghana. And he has done that. He has set the ball rolling. Everybody, even including the NDC, any day, any time they come to power, it should be a vision. Look, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says he's identifying challenges of this country and he's providing bold solutions. One of them he has identified is the power. NDC claims they have solved Doomsaw. Few years later, they are saying that the Doomsaw is back. They are saying, oh, there is Doomsaw in the country. When power goes off now, oh, there is Doomsaw. So what is the point in saying I have solved the problem? And then you now come and tell me, oh, there is a fault here, there is a fault there. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says, relax. We have a good solution. Technology exists to solve this. Instead of going for plants that will use crude and use fuel and use diesel, let's go for solar, which is the renewable, that is the order of the day. That even the developed economies have found sense in wind and solar. If we don't even have wind, I don't know where we have wind, but if we don't have wind, solar, we can manage it. 2,000 megawatts of solar. And let me tell you, this is the way he intends to reduce the cost of energy. I want Sami to tell me what is in his manifesto that he is going to use to reduce the cost of energy, because we are crying for the availability and the cost. So if the cost of energy today, as I speak to you, is maybe, let's say, 10 cedis, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says, using the fossil fuels is expensive and makes generation more expensive. We used to be on hydro, and the hydro was good. Now, because of our consumption had gone high, we cannot rely only on hydro. Even though we did Akosombo, we did Pong, we did Bui, it's still not solving the problem. But we have realized that the energy coming from the fossil fuels is not helping us. So let's go solar. This is his vision. This is a solution. I haven't heard this from anybody. Look, if you go beyond that, he looks at another problem. He provides you a solution. He says, I am going to make agriculture more effective. So instead of just letting people just go and farm, I'll provide you with the farm implements. Every district will have the farm implements just like we did with DRIP. If they have the farm implements, that even the one who doesn't have money to buy the implements will go and rent. So we will rent harrows, you will go and rent a tractor, and we will be able to. He's going to get land banks. He's providing solution. People come crying, there is rent. Rent is expensive. When the private sector is fully doing that without any support, any help, then they are charging whatever they want. So he says to make this, to provide a solution in his government, there will be land, we will buy the land and then plan the cities, plan the places where the houses are needed, and then let them build. He will provide the basics so that the private sector builds on it. What is the worst? Now we are procuring left, right, center. People are making money out of procurement. He said, I am going to cut down on government procurements. 3% of our GDP, that's about 30 billion. He is going to get off that to free that money for government's use. And the way where the MPP...
By doing what? What is he going to do?
He's going to cut government expenditure.
Okay.
As straightforward as that. We spend on this. I'm not going there. We are building schools. No, don't build the schools. The private sector is involved in building schools. Let's get people who will build the schools and we will pay them or we will pay rent or whatever. So that the money we are making, he is providing Ghana a solution that every day we don't have to go to somebody cap in hand begging for money.
Right.
We have to get to a point. Look, the gold for oil policy. Sami is fighting over dollar. I said you did 400%. We have done 400%. So the solution is not the noise over dollar. The solution is the pragmatic solution to the dollar. And what the pragmatic solution is that we are sitting on so much gold. Our gold sometimes goes through the back door. So Dr. Baumia said, let's consolidate the gold. When we used to have the Anglo Gold Ashantis and the Newmonts, the big ones working, we didn't have a problem. Let's consolidate the gold. Let's take off all these people who will create problems for us. Off. Get the companies, the bigger companies will employ the people in the pit. When they employ the people in the pit...
Explain what you're saying again.
What I'm saying is, he's now consolidating our gold reserves. When we consolidate it, we are going to put it together.
No, that's what I don't understand. When you say consolidating gold reserves, what is that?
We will not be giving one plot of land to some boys.
You mean a mineral deposit?
I mean gold. I'm talking about.
So our gold deposits.
When you say minerals, you are brought in
gold deposits.
Gold deposits.
Because when you said reserves, my mind went to the central bank.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes, and
So
even
deposits.
that one, he has provided a solution. So I will come there. If we are able to consolidate, the boys in the pit will live there because we have over 4 million boys in the pit. Doing all sorts of things all of us are crying over. Those boys sometimes do not even understand what we are talking about. When we are sitting here and you are talking about poisoning the water with cyanide, and those boys, all they are thinking about is at the end of the day, he gets some 500, he gets some 2,000, and he's better off than somebody working in the office. So he doesn't understand you. He doesn't even want to. He is saying that you cannot just order the boys to leave the pit like we have done. We send military, we send this, we send that. The day he gets the power, he is going to ensure that the 4 million people, even if we took some hundreds of thousands off, we have 3-point-something million still in the pit that the military are chasing here and there. We will consolidate, get a financing, the bank to finance, the development bank to finance it, and then we will be able to employ all these boys. It is better than going to chase them with guns now. But now we have to get them out of the bush. So that's why we are chasing them. But when the time comes and these companies come and they begin to, he wants to mine, all he knows how to do is mine, these boys will be employed. They will go to a proper structure. Not just enter the bush, get something from a chief, get some small money for some family head, and then you are just mining. By the time the military get there, he has done so much damage, and we come here and come and cry and cry and cry and cry, and the guy is in the bush when we are crying in Accra. So the point I'm making is that there is one person who has made a decision to provide solutions. He is not saying Ghana doesn't have problems. We have tons of the problems, but he's bringing the problems together and providing solution. You have light, we have Galamsey problem, we have this, all the problems we have, he's providing solution one by one. After free SHS, the boy is going home. His mother doesn't have the money. His father cannot take him anywhere. So we are giving him free SHS, he's back to square one. Even though free SHS can let him enter some military, some police, can give him something, the SHS is not where you want your child to end. So Dr. Baumia came and said, fine, this is a challenge, this is a problem. I will let those people who are disabled, some of them, not because they don't have the brain, that they are begging on the street, but he has no helper. That person should go. Free tertiary. He has finished free SHS. He will finish free tertiary. The one who is able-bodied, take your Ghana card, and the government will ensure that you get the money like it is done anywhere in the world. You get the money, attend the school, finish. By that time, if you finish nursing, Agenda 111, we would have completed the hospitals. We are going to employ thousands of them. If you finish, by then, maybe some 3, 4, 5, 10 more 1D1Fs and other additional companies would have come into the country, and they will be ready to employ more. So you will realize that as they come and they now begin to get the money, paying back your loan, just like anywhere in the world, apart from the Scandinavian countries who are doing a lot of free education. The rest, you will go, but when you come back, you will come and pay. And Dr. Baumia said, don't think about money. Just think about what you are going to study, your brain. We will provide you with the resources for you to finish the school. These are way. The youth are embracing these ones better than telling me that I should start, and when I start class 1, and then I'm going to class 2, then you leave me to me and my God. Look, Doc, let me end. I requested for data on their e-blocks. But now that I mentioned education, I wanted to go there. I requested for Sami's data. That Sami says a different thing. His boss said a different thing. His colleagues are saying a different thing. And I requested for the data from GetFund. It is here. GetFund is saying that even under them, they completed 22 of their own e-blocks. 22. That's the data that was sent to me. The one who is doing his free SHS and he's focusing and he's trying to ensure that it works, came and completed, do you know how many? 16 of the 22. And I have the data. They just sent it to me, so I can mention
60.
No, 16.
16, okay.
The one whose flagship is that project. He needed, like I told you the last time, he needed just 1.3 billion according to Okujeto. And that 1.3 billion is the high end because Okujeto quoted 5.5 million to 6.5 million. So I said, be the devil's advocate and say it is 6.5. The 6.5 times 200 will just give you the 1.3 I was talking about the last time. The 1.3, Mr. Mahama couldn't raise it in 4 years to build. Nanado is raising the close to 2 billion a year. He started from 1 point something.
So how come it's done only 16?
No, I'm saying that the analysis I'm making is, it is his flagship. Nanado's flagship is free SHS. It's now cost over 5 billion, right? If you take even 2 and times even 7 years, you would have crossed, it's not too flat. So let's say he's crossed like some 5 billion on free SHS. He needed 1.3 to do his flagship. This is Nanado's flagship. So he wasn't bent, he wasn't under any compulsion to per se. He's under compulsion because he's the president and he has to provide the resources. But what I mean is, your flagship gave you 1.3 billion. You couldn't raise it in 4 years. Sami is sitting here waiting to speak. You couldn't raise 1.3 billion in 4 years. Nanado has raised his 2 billion approximately, the average. And he's raised additional money to complete 16 of these e-blocks. And let me tell you where the juice is. A lot of these e-blocks, they put in areas quite far away. And some time back, I heard one of his boys, his guys explaining, I don't know whether he himself holds the same view, that they put them in places where adjoining communities can converge. But now we have put additional burden on that woman, or that market woman, that cocoa seller, whose child will have to come for maybe some 10 cities or 5 cities every day to pick a car from their town to the school. So Nanado came and said, okay, it's a good idea to build day schools. Day education is perfect. But those ones that are far away, I can give you the data. We have built dormitories. We have built, how do you call it, dining halls, various infrastructure, so that we can convert these schools that are far away from town, and some of them are being overgrown with weeds because nobody is enrolling. We send the computer, send people there, and the people will go and queue at education wanting to change it. He's not interested in going there. He's a day school that is some kilometers away from the town, and they have posted your child from Accra to that day school. If you look at the data, we have built dormitories, we have built dining halls, and other infrastructure like the bungalows and things, additional ones that are needed, have been put there. The data is there. It's on Get Fund website, and you can also, anybody can check. Anybody listening to us can check. So you realize that one government had done all these, and you don't think they have performed better than their predecessor. In addition to employing all the nurses, 2012 to 2016 nurses they left at home, majority of them are there now. And you know what? Those people we couldn't employ and are picketing and making noise. We decided to have a program with Barbados, so that those ones that we haven't been able to engage now for whatever reason, we can export some of them.
So
they are in Barbados as
How
we
many?
speak. I don't have the number. I think about 100 or so.
100. 100.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have the actual numbers now. I can check and give it to you. But as I speak to you, they've arrived in Barbados. I listened to their health minister speak on this issue. When we needed doctors and we were short, Jerry Rawlings went to Cuba and brought us doctors. So this is the world. You see, the world is going such that
I haven't heard you speak about DDEP, which in the last 8 years is about the most disastrous thing that has happened to this country.
You are
called
drawing
Ghana.
me into an... Let me tell you,
Yes.
when you people call DDEP disaster, this is
When
peace. When you call a DDEP a disaster, DDEP is a very painful thing, especially the local one. As for the international one, I'm happy about it. The local one is nothing anybody is proud of. I get worried, and anytime you draw me into that angle, I feel very uncomfortable.
No, but we're speaking about
because the
economy.
people of Ghana,
Oh.
I'm talking
Okay.
about it. The people of Ghana who might have had expectations and this issue hits them, they are worried. Some of them, the argument the NDC always puts up is some of them are sick, some of them are dying and all that. It's not a very comfortable situation to discuss. So I'm always worried when you draw me there, but I know you want me to go there. You think
No, but can
we are weaker
can we
there.
describe can we talk about the economy in the last 8 years without
So
speaking to?
in as much as I am very uncomfortable because of the message.
No, it's not about your comfort or discomfort. Too.
I am
to the
coming
extent
there.
that we're speaking about the economy
Yes,
of
so
Ghana.
Doc, I'm coming there.
Yes.
I'm coming there. The DDEP, as it happened, has a blessing aspect and a curse aspect, or a
Okay.
negative aspect, a positive aspect.
So tell me about the blessing first.
The blessing aspect. The DDEP had saved us that 4.7 billion.
Saved who?
Ghana. That 4.7 billion, which the OCC countries would have been asking for by now, that we should pay, not all, but I mean we would have been paying the interest rate, and you would have been paying parts of the principal. That is not money accumulated by only the MPP or the NDC. It has come over the period, and I just gave you the numbers. So these OCC countries are expecting us to be paying them. They say take 4.7 billion and put it aside because you have come to us and you said you are distressed. This is not the first time we are doing this. You know that. This is the 17th or 18th time we are going to the IMF.
No, it's
and
not
we have
true.
been to...
It's not the 17th or 18th time.
No, I'm coming.
We are engaged in.
No, DDEP
yes.
is another version. We know we had the HIPIC version.
Yes.
That was a program of the IMF.
Yes.
Now that program is no more there. Maybe
Yes.
countries would have run under HIPIC like we did before, and we had gains. The DDEP, we have done it. The 4.7 billion debt forgiveness. Do you remember that recently There was a publication that Mr. Mahama went to Japan. I think he went to the Japanese embassy, or he was thanking the Japanese for agreeing to do some good to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
That day when I first saw that thing, the question I asked is, hey, who sent him? Because it looks like people were against the DDEP. Now you go and do the DDEP, and the foreigners have decided, the OCC countries have decided to dash you some money. And now he is happy. But I thought he is against the DDEP.
Mm-hmm.
So the DDEP, the positive side, you have 4.7 billion sitting.
Mm-hmm.
We have 4.4 billion that they said, you suspend it for now. This has taken a lot of the pressure from us. And it is influencing the numbers now.
Mm-hmm.
The DDEP alone is influencing the numbers we are seeing now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 4.7, the 4.4 that is sitting, that's about 9.1 billion US dollars that by now we would have been struggling to go and pay.
Mm-hmm.
Positive.
Mm-hmm.
Very positive. And those ones that are
very
going
positive for what? For the next 18 months?
No, very positive 4.7 billion.
The 4.4 billion
forever.
when do we start
The 4.4, yes, you have given that time, 2026.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, for this period, you have a relief for you to stabilize the economy. The world has gone into a recession. I've repeated this thing a million times. And the people who are giving us this moratorium, these freedoms, the people know what is happening in their own country. Yeah. They know what is happening to the big ones. The Americans, the Germanys, the Frances, the Britons. They know what is happening to them, where people are losing jobs. So they know that if they leave we, the younger ones, the weaker ones, to fend for ourselves, we will have problems. So they are ready. The white man is ready to help. And that is why anywhere I sit, bad as it might be or uncomfortable as it might be, I always will stand in a position where we will appeal to the ordinary Ghanaian who might have also fallen within.
So are you done with the blessing?
Oh, the blessings are many. In fact, I have so many here. Besides just getting the money, we have saved money, so you are not paying. It's helping us. Besides not paying, these monies which will stay in the country within this period can help us complete the projects. And you could see that most of the projects that have stalled, roads, bridges, interchanges, most of them have taken off again. To the extent that you look at this, I'm giving you the the new one that is freshly completed.
Which one?
The Fraport.
It has nothing to do with DDP.
No, what I'm saying is, no, but most of the projects which stalled.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with
not
DDP.
Not that alone.
That's the GOG thing. Yes.
We have roads. If GOG did not have the money, talk.
No,
I have just told you what DDEP has done. Okay, it's not so like all the money is coming from somebody. So tell us about the case. But the case I have just spoken about, the biggest case for us is your father, your mother, some brother somewhere, a lot of the middle class who would have lost some income or some projected income within this period. It's not very comfortable because you would have planned with that. Somebody is putting up a building. He wanted the return. So somebody had gone on pension. He's gone to buy some bonds so that the returns he will use, the returns on that investment he will apply to something. And then unfortunately, these things happen. But I am telling you that I have spoken to 2 people who have bonds. I have spoken to 2. He told me, one man, the lady I was trying to explain to, the man told me that, look, if we didn't do anything and the economy crashed completely and these bonds become worthless, they would have been worse off.
That's what the man told me.
Yes, that's what the man is saying. Okay. That he would have been worse off, assuming that everything crashed, came down, and he lost all his money. Okay. So it's better. He's going to get something anyway, uncomfortable as it is. And that is the only thing that doesn't make me comfortable when I'm discussing this. Because there are people whose lives are being impacted negatively as a result of these DDEP. But it's better for us to go through the DDEP, especially if those people who did not have the bonds and are not directly impacted, you would have been impacted one way or the other if the economy went down completely and we didn't have anything to do.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, Sammy, hold on. We'll take a break. I won't return.
The way Sammy is shaking and heated, I don't know what is worrying him.
I thought he's rather relaxed.
Oh, no, he doesn't look
All right.
like
We'll be back shortly.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing. but nothing better than having it saved. Bet safer.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Another morning, another day filled with possibilities. My old car reflects my journey, and today could be the day I take a big step forward. Anything is possible. Just think about it.
My shelves are ready to be filled, and soon the flat rate will open up exciting new opportunities. I can already envision a vibrant shop bustling with customers, all eager to discover what I have to offer.
I feel optimistic about import costs. Why? Because with DMB flat duty rates, my expenses will be more manageable. I can see my business thriving.
Every moment spent with my son brings back wonderful memories.
I tell you, my son, with my digital skills, now one can create games in a website.
A show of boot number 1 on the ballot.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner. Dr. Baumia once said,
they are hurting the economy. These taxes are hurting, and therefore you are not going to get the growth. And when you don't get the growth, you will not get the revenue. And when you don't get the revenue, you go back to increasing taxes to get the revenue, and then you are in a cyclical downward spiral. And so they have it wrong.
Plenty English know the full baskets. They told us they'd move us from taxation to production, but they rather imposed over 40 taxes on suffering Ghanaians. Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia, number 1 on the ballot.
Using Koa Mixture, Koa Plus Mixture, and Koa MT Mixture, brought to you by Koa Research and Manufacturing Limited Company, proudly made in Ghana. Formulated to support your general well-being. For those seeking immune system support, there is Koa Plus Mixture. Support your body's defenses and stay strong. When it comes to combating malaria, Koa MT mixture will aid your treatments. For effective relief from malaria symptoms, try Koa MT mixture. Koa mixture, Koa plus mixture, and Koa MT mixture are not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under 12 years. Always take a malaria test before using Koa MT mixture. Choose Koa mixture, Koa plus mixture, and Koa MT mixture for your health needs. Available now at pharmacies nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact 0244 726611 or 0591 565 778. This advert is
anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
Prepare bantama.
Matias.
Her smile, the fresh breath.
Me, Jidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Send me Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan.
Ile kosen. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, what's up?
How far with your internship?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh please, I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for interns. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
After you on a line, ting.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in the office when you can just download their app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next month.
The luckiest.
Star 712#.
Luck is everywhere. 8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get back parking so you have to come. Wallah. Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. Hey, we'll wait here. We have star 712. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And I'm with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Let's
choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and bio.
With your body,
Hey,
never. Tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Dr. Baumia once said,
But if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
Dr. Baumia, when your fundamentals are weak, your exchange rate will expose you. That time now $1 to 4 cedis. And today, 11.5. The rate of depreciation. What are we going to say? $, India, a Turkish near Medinica, $, or the Bremi. Me money deposit. Not dollar, no. 6 cedis to $1. In August 2022, over $100,000. I have the evidence. Between 1,550,000 Ghana cedis, meaning the dollar was 15 cedis, 50 pesos. Where were the strategies?
The dollar, which was selling at 4.2 Ghana cedis in 2016, is today selling at about 17 Ghana cedis. Prices keep rising, businesses are collapsing, yet the so-called economic messiah is dead silent and totally clueless about how to fix it. Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
There's nothing worse than your multi-bet missing, but nothing better than having it saved. Bet saver.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Ernest Adade and Sammy Jemfi. But you've all been there. You've placed the perfect multi-bet, and it's all going your way until it's not. And one or more picks let you down. Well, with Betway's Bet Saver feature, you can win. Even if your bet misses, even on multiple losses, you can get your bet back and more. Bet Saver is exclusive to Betway. Get way more. Terms and conditions apply. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway. Get way more. Sammy?
Yeah.
Let's hear you.
Look, thank you very much. You see, it is very, very painful and sad to be a Ghanaian today, because not only has the leaders who are leading us today destroyed our economy and imposed untold suffering on the people, but in addition to that, they insult the sensibilities and the intelligence of the people on a daily basis. And that for me is worse. It is so sad and painful that at a time when Ghanaians are reeling under unprecedented and excruciating hardships caused by the incompetence, recklessness, and sheer wickedness of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia NPP government, they will still send communicators to the studios of Metro TV to look us in the eyes and tell us that they have performed better. They have performed better, they have done well. And some of the things that my brother Mr. Dade has spoken about here actually made me cringe. At a point in time, I was frozen. I couldn't even believe that somebody could be this insensitive, this callous.
What did he say?
I mean, the lies, the fictitious claims and arguments. This is not a laughing matter, because these are matters that border on the lives of our people. The damage, the harm you have caused this nation and the people of this nation. For you to even be able to muster the courage to say the things you have said this morning, it shows that you, these people, these NPP people, you have no modicum of respect in you for Ghanaians. You have no conscience. Look, Doc, let's start with what he started with, the growth rate. The growth rate of every economy is important. It shows you the level of, or the rate of economic activities in the economy, okay? And how that increases over time. Okay, so it is important. Now, in 2016, it is true that
we recorded a growth rate of 3.4% under John Mahama. But there is a reason for that. It is not because the real sector of the economy did not see growth. The real sector of the economy in 2016 grew by about 4.9%, almost the same as the growth rate for the real sector in 2017, even under the MPP. The reason why growth reduced to 3.4% was because the oil and gas sector, which is also part of the economy, saw a negative growth of 15.6%. And the reason for that negative growth was not because of the doing of John Mahama or any human being. By an act of God, FPSO Nkrumah, which was the only FPSO we had at the time, had some technical challenges. The turret bearing was damaged. So for 9 months, close to 10 months in 2016, oil production went down. We could not produce oil because the FPSO, by an act of God, what the lawyers will call force majeure, was damaged. Coupled with that was the sharp decline in the international market price of oil. So overall, Ghana saw a negative 15.6% growth in the oil and gas sector. When we added that negative growth to the non-oil growth, then you saw that reduction of 3.4%. But in spite of that challenge we chalked, John Mahama had made significant investments. In fact, they had started under Mills. And we had invested in the ENI fields. We had invested in our hydrocarbon reserves to ensure that we get 2 additional oil fields coming on stream. And so by the time we're leaving office, the 10 fields, the Sankofa fields, were coming on stream in addition to Jubilee fields, which Kufuor bequeathed to us. And it was because of that, that in 2016, both the IMF and the World Bank, and in fact, the Economic Intelligence Unit, all predicted that Ghana's economy was going to grow above 7% in 2017. They were able to make that prediction in 2016, even before we went to the polls to elect a new president. Even before Akufo-Addo would be elected, months before that, they had been able to make that projection or prediction because of the solid work John Mahama had done. They all saw that rebound. They all saw growth rate above 7%, 8% as a result of the solid work we have done. That is the true story of economic growth or the GDP growth relative to 2016. But look, you know what? Under them, 2023, we've not seen any act of God or force majeure in the area of oil and gas. In fact, today, because of the investments John Mahama made, in terms of quantum or quantity, we have 4 times the oil production volume we had under President Mahama. Revenue, the same. In fact, it is as a result of their recklessness and their high-handedness, the hostilities they have meted out to players in the upstream sector. That is why oil production has declined by 32%, because they are leaving. But aside that, they have not encountered the problem we had with the international market price of oil coming down significantly. They have not encountered the problem we had with the FPSO for oil production and storage getting damaged by an accident for 9 to 10 months. And yet, your GDP, your economic growth for 2023 is 2.9%. How is 2.9% even better than the 3.4% we bequeath to you? I don't even want to go back to our record in 2011. Please, you see, you have spoken. Listen, my brother. You've spoken about 1 hour. I didn't even cough. Don't echo me when I'm speaking. Don't echo me. When you were peddling falsehood, I was writing. So you to write. And look at this, argument they make. We are in 2024. Listen, this is basic economics. You compare like with like. Exactly. I am comparing the 3.4% growth rate for 2016 is the overall average GDP growth rate for that year. The year 2024 has not ended, so you can't even compare a quarter, say third quarter or second quarter growth rate to end of year growth rate for 2016. It's illiterate. We don't do that. So what you can do is to compare the 2023 figure, because that one you have the end of year, and then you compare that to 2016. So the analysis I'm making is apt.
You can
So,
make your point without
in terms, listen. No, I'm not referring to you. I'm saying that argument is uninformed. That argument is flawed. Even if you don't like the illiterate, it is flawed. Please allow me to talk. Allow me to talk. So, in terms of growth rates, you have not done better than John Mahama, because 2.9% is not better than 3.4%. And in terms of growth rate, in the history of this Fourth Republic, and I dare say in the history of Ghana, since Ghana became Ghana, the highest ever economic growth rate ever chalked by any government was under the NDC, when John Mahama was vice president and chairman of the economic management team. Growth rate of 14.4%. And the non-oil part of that growth rate was more than 8%. So in terms of economic growth,
2011.
So in terms of the economic growth, if you are talking about economic growth rate, you come nowhere near the NDC. And in fact, with all the challenges we had in 2016, what we chalked 3.4% in terms of growth rate is even better than what you have recorded now, with more oil, more everything, without experiencing the shocks, the exogenous shocks we experience in the upstream sector and also on the international market relative to oil prices. And aside that, the 2017 growth rate we chalked of 8%, the IMF, the World Bank, all these neutral players have said is attributable to the investments of the NDC Mahama government. You can't dispute that. Go and read the 2016 mid-year budget review presented to Parliament by Setekpe. He makes the same projections. And everybody knows, because in terms of non-oil growth, 4.1%, same as 2016. The reason why growth was 8% was because in 2017, the oil and gas sector grew by 84%. What attributed to that 84? What caused that 84% growth rate? It is because the 10 Sankofa oil fields came on stream. Who did that work? John Mahama. So please don't even talk about growth rate. Now let's go to the exchange rate. And he doesn't get it when you tell him relative to the public debt to stick to the cedi, and then he tries to now rubbish the exchange rate. Do you know economics more than Bawumia? At least you guys said he was an economic wizkid. Samira Bawumia, my husband is an economic wizkid. We remember. And in fact, Bawumia was projected by Akufo-Addo. If you go and check the last rally that the MPP held at Ayawaso West Wogon before the by-election, Akufo-Addo said in Twi that Bawumia na wiasimu nyanse nyina nyame de ahye team. I'm quoting him verbatim. That all the wisdom in the world are endowed in one man called Bawumia. Bawumia told us that when in doubt about the health of any economy, check what? Doc. He told us to check what? When you are in doubt.
I've forgotten.
About the health of any economy, Doc, let me remind you, he said, check the exchange rate.
Oh, now I remember.
And that is why he said, if the fundamentals of your economy are weak, what will expose you? The growth rate, the exchange rate. And so he told us that that is the most important barometer for measuring the health of every economy. Look, in 2016, when we were leaving office, end of year, the depreciation of the cedi was 9.6%. In 2022, the depreciation was over 54%. Even now in 2024, the cedi has depreciated by more than 22%. Even in 2024. So I'm not just using 2022 figures. The rate of depreciation. In nominal terms, you needed just 4 cedis to get $1. You, at the highest level, even after the 2016 election, the dollar rose to 4.2 under Mahama. And you said that was a mark of incompetence. And you came in, appointed this man that, according to Akufo-Addo, had the magic wand to stabilize the cedi and to transform our economy. Don't forget that these are the same people who promised to transform the Ghanaian economy within 18 months. And don't forget that according to Akufo-Addo, who is the president, the one who was going to lead that process was Bawumia. You recall his famous speech, Sidina Hata Hata. And after that, what did he say? He said, it is because of this that I have brought Bawumia to be my running mate. And he made him chairman of the economic management team. And he was the one who adored the so-called solid economic management team. Today, from 4 cedis, 20 pesos, you need 17 cedis and over to get $1. And you're saying that 17 cedis to the dollar is better than 4 cedis. I don't know who Ghana for. Such an insult.
NS says the Bank of Ghana says it's 16.2.
Who buys dollar from Bank of Ghana? You see the ignorance. Who buys dollar? You. If you're looking for dollar, will you buy it from Bank of Ghana? Those watching us who buy dollar from Bank of Ghana.
Okay, I'm noting.
The banks buy dollars from Bank of Ghana. But today, check all the banks. I just checked with my bank. I just checked with Stanbic.
In fact, that 4.2, let me ask, that 4.2 that was used, was it a Bank of Ghana rate?
It was not a Bank of Ghana rate. It was a black market rate. The Forex Bureau rate. You understand? The 4.2 it has never been the Bank of Ghana rate. If you're talking about, look, don't ask me questions when I'm speaking. You're not the host. I beg you. I'm speaking to Ghanaians.
So I'm just
with the moderation of the host. Don't talk when I'm talking. I beg you.
Just hold on. Ernest, you have the data. When it comes to 10, help me with something. You see, you cannot use 4.2. You cannot use 4.2 to analyze when the NDC and GM left off and decide to use Bank of Ghana today, because that 4.2
or even the commercial banks.
The 4.2 was not a Bank of Ghana rate.
Yes.
So let's be consistent.
Yes. So the commercial banks will tell you that we buy at 15.8. They can even say 15.4. We sell at 16.3, 16.4. Do they have dollars? They don't have some of the dollars. You can't go there and buy dollars. So we are all buying dollars at the Forex bureaus. And when Bawumia was giving those lectures of his, he was not using Bank of Ghana rates, he was using Forex Bureau rates. And I'm telling you that today, Forex bureaus are selling dollar at 17.2, 17.1. The cheapest you get to be 17.0. Not too long ago, it's even few days ago, 17.5. Those watching us know there are people who buy dollars on a daily basis. Few days ago. Yeah. And even as I speak to you, look, let me tell you something. He referenced a certain publication 2 days ago which indicated that the dollar has started appreciating. The cedi has started appreciating.
The Bank of Ghana put some dollars in the system.
My Joe Online did a story. Let me read it to you. Let me read it to you. Let me read a story to you. My Joe Online, 12 November 2024, 2 days ago.
Tuesday.
cedi begins week promisingly. Despite heightened demand pressures. $1 equals 17 cedis.
Yeah.
So my John Online to his lie.
No, but they are rates. They are not using central bank.
That is the point, because no serious-minded person in today's Ghana will use central bank's rate or a commercial bank's rate when we all know that that is not the rate at which dollar is being bought in the market by businesses. Okay. That is the point. So if you look at that exchange rate, which according to Bawumia is the most important economic barometer for measuring the health of any economy, you have performed the poorest. You have demonstrated that you are incompetent, inept, clueless about economic management. You should not even talk when we are talking about economic management. It should even be haram for you to talk about the economy. It should be a taboo. Do you know what this has done to businesses? Look, if a businessman needed $10,000 in 2016 under John Mahama, what this means is that he only needed at most 42,000 cedis. Today, if he needs the same $10,000 without 1 cent more, $10,000, it will cost him 170,000 and over. In nominal terms, he has to cough up 128,000 cedis and over to get the same $10,000. You have no shame. You still want to insult our intelligence that this is better? Doc, if somebody had 100,000 cedis in the bank under John Mahama, that 100,000 cedis could get him over $23,000, 809. Let me even round it up to $23,000. Under John Mahama, if you had 100,000 cedis sitting in your bank account, you could buy $23,000 with it. Under these guys, You have 100,000 in your bank account, you can only buy $5,800. Look at how much you have lost. And that is why today businesses are collapsing, leading to job losses. People are getting high blood pressure. People are dying in the process. And you come and sit here. Instead of you to apologize, you are here saying that you have done better. Doc, another important indicator for measuring the health of every economy is inflation. The rate of increase in general prices over a period of time. Because in opposition, they made a lot of noise about inflation. You recall that Bawumia used to give lectures citing prices at Malata markets. In 2012, not even in 2016. Because in 2012, inflation had reduced under John Mahama as chairman of the economic management team and vice president. Inflation had dropped from double digits. You know that when Kufuor, you see, these guys, they are so dishonest and disingenuous. When he was talking about what Kufuor bequeathed to us, he spoke about growth rate. He didn't talk about any other indicator. He didn't talk about inflation.
We'll go there. He spoke about debt.
And the debt too. When Kufuor was leaving office, inflation was 18%. The Mills Mahama government brought it down to single digits and kept it at single digit for 33 months. Even with Doomsaw and with global market prices going up and all that, oil prices going up and it affecting the downstream sector and therefore price levels. At the time John Mahama was leaving office, inflation had reduced to 15.4% and was on a downward trajectory. Today, inflation is 22%. How can 22% inflation be better than 15.4%? Master, what do you take us for? Don't forget that before inflation came to 22, it went to 54%. And he says, oh, why are you talking about that? Why shouldn't we talk about that? If you were so reckless and criminally minded that you got the Bank of Ghana to illegally print, please, Doc, tell him not to heckle me.
Use of abusive language.
It is not abusive to say reckless. And it is reckless when the Bank of Ghana Act tells you the amount of money you can borrow from the central bank so that inflation doesn't go haywire. And you decide to get the Bank of Ghana to print over 45 billion cedis for you in 1 year, 2022. And that causes inflation to rise to hyper levels of 54%. And according to the World Bank, it is because of the illegal printing of money that inflation went up to 54%. Then you have been reckless. And in fact, the Bank of Ghana Act says it is criminal to do so. And because of that, over 800,000 people were plunged into poverty, according to the World Bank. You can't tell us to forget that. We will continue to refer to that. But even the current inflation rate of 22% is not better than what President Mahama bequeathed to you. The man who was buying a ball of kenke in Accra had 1 Ghana cedis in 2016. And today he's buying the same ball. Why am I even saying the same ball? A shrink size kenke, a ball of kenke at 3 cedis. In some cases 4 cedis. In some cases 5 cedis. In some cases 7 cedis. You are saying that that person is better off today than he was under John Mahama with 22% inflation rates? What do you take us for? Doc, put inflation aside. The most important thing in measuring the health of every economy, the debt. Your public debt. And whether or not you are able to service your debt. You know, even for us as human beings, your bankruptcy or your solvency or insolvency as a company or as an individual depends on your ability to service your liabilities. If you can't pay your debt, you are bankrupt. Under John Mahama, with all the things you say about him, Ghana never defaulted on its debt obligations. We always service our debt obligations, both domestic and foreign. When John Mahama was leaving office, the public debt was 120 billion cedis. What was the public debt in 2008 when Kufuor was leaving office? Around 9.9 billion cedis. And the reason why I won't quote dollars is because Ghana's debt is expressed both domestic cedis and foreign in dollars. But when it is being reported as a whole, it is reported in cedis. Because when Ghana is servicing its debt, we service it with cedis. So you can't be talking public debt and be expressing our total public debt in dollars. That also is flawed. And no informed person will make that analysis. So 9.9, please don't heckle me. 9.9 billion cedis under Akufo to 120 billion cedis, a nominal increase of about 110 billion. But that is not even the most important thing. The most important thing is whether or not that debt President Mahama bequeathed to them was sustainable. Yes, it was, because debt to GDP was 56.5%. And that is the most important indicator in measuring debt sustainability. Debt to GDP of 56.5%. Under you, the public debt is now 761 billion as at August 2024. By now, it has crossed 800 billion. In nominal terms, you've added over 580 billion to the public debt. In fact, why am I saying 580? Over 600 and something billion to the public debt. But that is not even important. The most important thing is that your debt is not sustainable. And that is why in 2022, debt to GDP crossed 100%. It hit 104%, the first time in the last 4 decades. That is why under you, for the first time under this Fourth Republic, we have defaulted on our debt obligations. We are now a bankrupt nation. And he sits here without any shame to say that he is happy with the foreign debt restructuring. Really? Investors, are you listening to him? He doesn't even know that there are Ghanaians who buy Eurobonds. So when you hear that we are restructuring our foreign debt, you think it is only affecting foreigners? OECD countries? You don't know that there are Ghanaians who are holders of foreign debt instruments? You don't know that? The Ghanaians who bought Eurobonds, you are happy that they have lost their money. According to your own finance minister, they have saved $12 billion. You know what that means? $12 billion borrowed from individuals, some of whom were Ghanaian citizens and foreigners. Their hard-earned monies. In the case of Ghanaians, pensioners. You have deprived them of their hard-earned monies. Some have died. Look at the owner of Kama Conference Center, died painfully. And before he died, his last public outing, he was lamenting and crying about the monies he has lost as a result of DDEP. People are sick. They can't even get money to buy medication because you owe them money. You told them that you won't pay the money when you are supposed to pay. They should wait for 10 to 15 years. And you have reduced the coupon that you are supposed to give them. This is the first time something like this is happening in the last 50 years. In fact, in the history of Ghana. Because what happened under Echampo was different. Not that we didn't have the money to pay. He had. But as a soldier, he wanted to show bravado and say, I won't pay. Because the borrowed funds was spent on corrupt activities. This one, we are bankrupt. We can't pay. And people have lost their livelihoods. Their lives. And you are here. That, it's a blessing and a curse. What is the blessing in this? Even for those foreign entities, the countries, do you know the damage this has done to the image of Ghana? Today we have been locked out of the capital market. We can't go to the capital market to borrow. The capital market that Cote d'Ivoire can go and borrow. Burkina, being ruled by a military junta, can go and borrow. Togo can go and borrow. We can't go there. You are not ashamed of yourself. You are saying, I'm happy with a foreign debt restructuring. The next time we return, you know the interest will be getting. At what cost?
Because today, like you indicated.
At what cost?
Yes,
should we have even gotten there in the first place? You borrowed Eurobonds, $3 billion every year. Through Kenke and Wache parties to celebrate it at the Ministry of Finance. Wasted borrowed funds on the rental of private jets. Because according to you, the president had to bath in the skies. Wasted borrowed funds on the construction of a hall in the name of building a church for God. A church of evil. A church built on lies. You wasted taxpayers' money like that. And you come here, the taxpayer now has to pay for that through crude, painful financial haircuts. And you are here saying you have done better in managing the economy. When under John Mahama there was no haircut. Those who lend to government could go to sleep knowing that government will always pay. And in fact, we always pay our debt obligations. Our credit rating was B-, not the junk status it is today. Not the baller status it is today. And you are here comparing yourself to John Mahama. Monfere. Look, interest rates today, 35 to 40%. Compare that to Mahama's time, 25%, at most 27%. How can you even compare? Unemployment rates under Mahama, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, 8.4%. Today, close to 15%. Nearly double of what Mahama bequeathed to you. Look at the hopelessness in our country. People have finished school, they are sitting home, and he was talking about nurses. You see, don't come and lie on Good Morning Ghana, because you'll be exposed. 2020 nurses, 2021 nurses, 2022 nurses, they demonstrated in July 2024.
No, but he was specific. He said that the nurses who graduated from 2012 to 2016, that you could not employ. They have given them jobs. That's what he said.
But which government did not employ nurses? Way arguments.
And even the
please, let me talk. Let me talk. Number one.
You see, when you lie and you are correct, just accept.
Just subject what they say to common sense. And you will see how hollow those arguments are. Which government did not employ nurses? So when John Mahama came, he didn't employ nurses. Under John Mahama and Professor Mills, we had a policy of automatic employment of nurses.
But we still had issues with clearance.
Clearance. Yeah, there were delays, but they will always be posted. This is the first time that professional allied health workers have been home for close to 5 years. Ally? Don't we discuss that here with the Kuboy all the time? 5 years. The nurses, the last 3 to 4 years, they are home. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. So since 2020, all these guys are still home. Then he says they have come up with a solution. What is the solution? We've sent 100 to Barbados. Master, you guys show us some respect. There are thousands of people. Look, you are the only government.
And we are turning out.
You are the only government in the history of Ghana who has had more resources than any government. The biggest resource envelope, over 1.1 trillion cedis than any government. Yet you cannot boast. You cannot boast of one district hospital started and completed by you in 8 years.
Please.
John Mahama can boast of the Dodowa district hospital started and completed. I said the only government in Ghana's history who happens to be the most resource in our history. Because Mills and Mahama had a total resource.
We didn't even build our
Please, why are you making the show noisy? You're being too disruptive.
I'm not there.
Total resource envelope of Mills and Mahama, 276 billion. You've had 1.1 trillion.
When you say total resource envelope, what do you mean?
The taxes, the borrowed funds, the grants, revenue from oil, gold, and so on. All the monies that have accrued to them. Mills Mahama, 276 billion. Cedis. Bawumia Akufo-Addo in 8 years, 1.1 trillion new Ghana cedis. Trillion new Ghana cedis. And I'm saying they can't boast of even one district hospital. I won't even talk about tertiary hospitals like RAGE. I won't talk about quaternary hospitals like UGMC, like Bank of Ghana Hospital. Analysis. But even a common district hospital, they can't talk of one started and completed by them in 8 years. They should show me one. The Shaman one that they cut a sword for, I have been to the site. Today, all you can see the weeds. Agenda 111, not even one completed.
Emilia sent me a text about that.
Yes. So what are you talking about here? That you have created vacancies for nurses?
There are many hospitals that have been commissioned by this government.
Projects inherited from Mahama.
Okay, all right.
You understand? Projects that funds were secured by Mahama, construction started by Mahama, delayed for 2 to 3 years, and now commissioned. I'm talking about projects that they have commenced. Like, I gave you one example, I have many, but I just want to give you one example. Dodowa, one of the best district hospitals. Right. Started by Mahama, completed by Mahama. Now, Doc, he talks about the fact that John Mahama said the meat was down to the bone, and now they can pay allowances, they can pay. What allowances are you paying? You don't do your basic checks before you can. What allowances? When Bawumia went to stand in a nursing training institution and boasted about payment of allowances, didn't you see how that little girl exposed
you? See how it was paid?
Look,
record time.
Look.
The allowance, haven't they paid?
Was peanut, please. Don't even go there.
You finish.
Go to the nursing training institutions. There are people who are in their final years, they've never even received allowances. Look, let me make my point.
Some payments have been made.
Exactly.
But there are a lot of
Some
debts.
payments have been
Let
made.
me make
But
there are many that are outstanding.
So if it is outstanding,
please hold on.
All statutory payments, when have they ever finished paying?
Those payments are not even called. It's not even statutory payments.
No, they're standing payments.
So the argument, you understand what you're saying?
There's never been a single year.
Let's educate those watching. Let's go. When we say statutory payments, those are the payments which are required to be made by statute. Allowances are required to be made by government policy. That is not statute.
Explain to me. You will say what you.
Let me make my point. I'm not explaining to you. I said I'm educating viewers because you are throwing dust into their eyes. Allowances are not statutory payments.
You finish.
When we talk about statutory payments, you are talking about District Assembly Common Fund. Those are the things we are talking about. You're talking about the GET Fund, things like that. Payments that are supposed to be made in fulfillment of statutory requirements. And I'm saying that John Mahama did not cancel any allowances. He replaced allowances with loans. In any case, if your economy is so buoyant and all that, how come that you can't pay NABCO beneficiaries their 9 months allowances? Common 700 Ghana cedis. 700 Ghana. People have worked for 9 months, you have not paid them. You are here saying our economy can buy fuel, but it can't pay NABCO beneficiaries. It can't pay NABCO beneficiaries. And you are not ashamed. Doc, look at the real sector of the economy. Anybody watching me, Google the 2024 budget and check Appendix 1C. We need to settle this thing. Look, Appendix 1C of the MPP's own 2024 budget. Look at an important sector like industry. These are the people who pride themselves with 1D, 1F. Look at industry. Under John Mahama, industry grew by 4.3%. Now let's see the last 3 years. 2020 industry growth, negative 2.5%. Doc, are you listening?
Yes.
2021 industry growth, negative 0.5%. 2022, 0.9%. 2023, negative 1.2%. You say you have done better? Doc, let's go to manufacturing. Very critical to the development of every emerging or developing economy. Under John Mahama, that you claim that the meat was down to the bone. 7.9% growth rate.
He didn't claim. That's
no problem. Because he's taking that statement out of context.
Okay.
If we have implemented the most revolutionary, public salary pay policy, which is single spine, which increased the wage bill, such that at a point in time, the wage bill was consuming over 70% of our domestic revenue. And because of that, John Mahama in contest said, the salary of public sector workers is taking away everything we are generating domestically. And it is within that context, he said, the meat is down to the bone. You can't take that out of context to mean that the economy was in a state of comatose. That is why I'm reading your own budget to show you the state of John Mahama's economy in terms of the real sector vis-a-vis yours. I've done industry. Look at manufacturing. Your own budget, 7.9% under John Mahama. Under you, 2020, 1.9%. Okay? Manufacturing, 1.9%. 2021, 8.1%. Check 2022. No, negative 2.5. 2023, negative 1.0. So in the last 2 years, manufacturing has been growing in the negatives. Industry, in the last 3 years, in the negatives. No, construction. If you claim you are building hospitals and you are building roads and all that, we should see it in the numbers. Construction under John Mahama. Your own budget too. 8.4% in 2016. Come to 2019, negative 4.4. 2020, 3.1. 2021, 6.0. 2022, negative 4.0. 2023, negative 5.0. Negative 5. Construction. You want to talk about your economy doing better? Look, you cannot say by any shred of imagination that this economy can even be compared to the Mahama's economy. An economy that cannot service its debt obligations, an economy that cannot pay NABCO beneficiaries, an economy that is rated not by Ghanaians, not by NDC and PP people, but by sovereign credit rating agencies as junk, as baller, to the economy of Mahama, which was rated B-, which means stable with a positive outlook. Look, when Mahama was leaving office, the economy that was down to the bone had a sinking fund with $500 million in it for the payment of our debts. In fact, the first Eurobond, Kufuor borrowed. Mahama had paid part, 750 million, part of that, and it was left with about 500 million. He was so wise. And, you know, he had a foresight, so visionary, to bequeath to you $500 million to pay that debt in the sinking fund. Money given to you. He also bequeathed to you $270 million in the GIF, Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, for developmental purposes. The ones you gave to Akufo-Addo's and Kontafo to build a hotel at Airport City, Pullman. $270 million. That was what the economy, which was down to the bone, could do. He gave you a stabilization fund with $300 million in it. From our oil process, $300 million. And when COVID struck, you had depleted all our buffers. The only thing you could fall on was that stabilization fund accumulated under the Mills Mahama government, $300 million. When he says he left you money. Show me which funds Kufuor left money in for Atta Mills. Did he have a sinking fund? Did he have a stabilization fund? Did he have a gift fund? Even the IMF money John Mahama went for, about $947 million. We only assessed $500 million. $450 million of that Mahama left it for them. Money. Plus cocoa output of almost 1 million metric tons, specifically 967,000. Today, what is our cocoa output? 420,000. You've collapsed the cocoa sector. You guys, you can't. Why should you even be making this comparison?
I mean, saying all these things about the MPP administration and saying all these negative things about them, you fail to account for the global health disaster, which is COVID.
All right.
And its impact on the Ghanaian economy.
Okay. When
you cannot discount that.
3 reasons. When you are talking about Ghana's economy under Mahama, do they account for the global factors of oil prices, gold prices, and everything plummeting to a record low, thereby affecting revenue? Do they even account for doing so? No. Number 2, how did these global factors jump our neighbors, Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, Burkina Faso?
They didn't jump them.
But Bawumia once upon a time in 2016, when we were talking about exogenous shocks, he quizzed, how did those exogenous shocks, those global factors, jump all our neighbors, Nigeria, Côte d'Ivoire? It wasn't not Bawumia who said that. By their worst, they shall be justified. By their worst, that shall be condemned. So I'm holding him by his own word. How did those global factors, how come that Côte d'Ivoire has not been locked out of the capital markets? Why is their economy doing well? Why has their economy even overtaken that of Ghana? Why is it that Côte d'Ivoire has not defaulted on its debt obligations? Same for Togo, same for Burkina, same for Nigeria. So that is neither here nor there. And in fact, those global factors, if you check the net impact of it, it became a blessing.
How?
Because according to the Ministry of Finance, COVID was a 12 billion problem. 12 billion CD problem.
In terms of direct, but there were indirect problems.
No, the indirect was 18 billion in terms of the revenue shortfalls. But COVID gave them more than that, more than 30 billion. In fact, in dollar terms, over $5 to $6 billion. In terms of COVID, no cry, What's the major say? They have so much money, and that is why they distributed. I don't understand what you're saying. That is why when you're speaking the guy, I don't understand, but I take it like that, so you to take it like that.
I must understand to ask you a question.
So I'm saying that COVID rather became a bonanza.
I only heard Bronya and Akuko.
I mean, they use COVID as a bonanza for corruption. And that is why their own parliamentary candidates tell us about how the money was distributed to them. Felicia Tete, their vice chair for Northern, he said she got 200,000 COVID funds. We saw how they distributed it like a Bruni and Katia among themselves. They use it as a bonanza to steal. And the Auditor General's report is clear on that. But Doc, look, he now invites us to look at the MPP's manifesto and check the bold solutions Bawumia is talking about. And Bawumia is talking about solar. Bawumia is talking about farm inputs. Bawumia is talking about consolidating our gold reserves. Look, these people, what do they take us for? I will always ask that, because if you don't say that, what you may say may not be palatable. If governance was about promises, then no community in Ghana would be experiencing water or toilet problems today.
Why?
If governance was about promises, then the people of Cape Coast, the good people of Cape Coast, would be boasting of an ultra-modern harbour and an airport today. If governance was about promises, then today Ghana would be boasting of concrete roads. If governance was about promises, then today we would have moved from taxation to production. We would have been transformed from a Gorgesburg economy to an economy that exports more than it imports and add values to what it exports.
What are you saying?
Look, I am trying to say that Kwatre Kwasi Obama Ntomati anything.
Meaning what?
This Bawumia is not a stranger. We saw him in 2016. We saw him on the campaign trail in 2020. What didn't he promise? Bawumia. Bawumia. The one who went and stood in a church, Lighthouse Chapel, promised Bishop Dagiwad Mills that Ghana, the cabinet of Akufo-Addo has decided to now build only concrete roads because asphalt roads are not durable. They don't make financial sense. He lied in a church.
No,
you want us to take solar?
He didn't lie.
Bawumia, where are the model, what did he even call model senior high schools in Zongus? In all the 16 regions, where are they? The Islamic Medical University, where is it? Bawumia. We should take what comes from his mouth seriously. What planet was this man living in 2020 and 2016?
Okay.
This man, bereft of credibility?
Okay.
Look, Doc. So where were all these ideas? Where were all these ideas in the last 8 years?
He wasn't the president.
He wasn't the president, but he was the chairman of the economic management team.
But he was still answerable to a boss.
Yes, but the boss says he gave him the economy to manage. And that was his role. And then he comes to talk about good for oil, the good for oil that you have used as a decoy to steal money. For which reason we have promised to probe it. But good for oil is Bawumia's corrupt gig. Who doesn't know?
No.
Ask those in the sector.
No. That's just an allegation, Sammy.
Okay.
Nothing has been proven.
Let me prove to you. Number one, the gold they are buying from the miners, at what price do they buy?
No, but you are not demonstrating.
Because they don't tell you.
Yeah, so you don't know.
The oil they are buying with that money, not with gold though. They are buying. In fact, there is nothing called gold for oil.
I mean, you suspect.
No, it's not even suspicion. Look, number one, do you agree with me that there is nothing called for gold for oil in Ghana? Do you agree that there is nothing currently happening in Ghana called good for oil?
There is something called
That's
good
your
for
opinion.
oil.
But it is not.
Do you have any
in
data
reality,
to support
because Ghana has never bought 1 barrel of oil with gold anywhere.
That's true.
We pay money.
That's true.
So they are only using Bank of Ghana money to buy gold from small-scale miners, including Galamsey Gold. They buy the gold, sell the gold, make dollars, and use the dollars to buy oil. The price at which they buy the gold, they don't tell Ghanaians. And the price at which they buy the oil, they don't tell us. And they are making profit for their private pockets. At least go and check the books of Bank of Ghana. Why has the IMF asked that the Bank of Ghana halts the program? Because the Bank of Ghana has incurred billions of dollars, billions of cedis in losses as a result of that program. Who is going to pay? Me and you and I.
It still doesn't make it corrupt.
Very corrupt. But look, their day of reckoning will come. Then on this e-block thing, look, these guys, they can lie. He says that Get Fund says we completed 29 e-blocks.
I can't to quote your numbers.
29
22.
22.
22. That's what you said.
Okay. I thought the figure was 29 because
I know he said. In fact, the figure I also had earlier was 29. So they sent me this data. I can mention
the e-blocks were being built by the Ministry of Education. They had direct oversight, right? When Professor Nana Jane Upoku-Agyeman was leaving office, in her handing over notes, she indicated 46 of those e-blocks, which had been the physical structures completed, furnished with the furniture, the labs had been furnished, the libraries, everything, and all that. In fact, most of them had even been commissioned by John Mahama. And the list is there. I have done a press conference and I've put out the list. Anybody listening to me, just Google John Mahama completed 46 e-blocks. You get the full list, the name of the school and the location. And this was confirmed by the first education minister of Akufo-Addo, who knows better than Adade and the Get Fund people, Napo. NDC built only 46 community-day senior high schools, Upoku Prempeh, March 7, 2017. This is March Upoku Prempeh. Kwame Nkrumah, a.k.a. God sleeps every night. This is the man who said, the man who says that no pastor should pray, no Muslim should pray for John Mahama, that man, he says that John Mahama completed 46 e-blocks. You are here quoting 29. The reason why I even put the figure at 73, and in fact when John Mahama was introducing Nana Jane to the Central Regional House of Chiefs, he mentioned 73, is that apart from these 46 which were ready to be operationalized, there were about 28 more. Look, there were about 27 more, right? Which had been completed. The physical structure, the school had been built. It was just left with some final touches and finishing, that some of which they have left to rot. I travel the length and breadth of Ghana. You go to communities that Mahama almost completed their community day senior high school. Like I went to Amenfi, was that Amenfi West? Amenfi West. They have one there. Okay? Samre Boy, E-Block, almost completed by John Mahama, left to rot. Many of these schools, and he's here talking about E-Blocks. How many secondary schools have you built? It was in this country, 2016, when Nana Pomia held a press conference and said that, oh, John Mahama has cast sod for the construction of 123 senior high schools. That's the E-Blocks. But you know what Akufo-Addo and Bawumia would do? They will build 350 secondary schools. Doc, did they promise that or not?
They did.
350. How many of the 350 have you built? How many have you built? You say we have done 22, 29. It's all a lie. Have you done 22, 29 secondary schools? Have you done that? Have you done that? Doc, put that aside. Look, for me, and I don't even want to go on and on to respond to everything he has said, because traveling the length and breadth of Ghana, what I have seen is that the Ghanaian has become very discerning. They know their current state. They know what they are going through. They know the price at which they used to buy a bag of rice under John Mahama. And they know how much they are paying for that. And they know that there's not been anything close to a commensurate increase in their incomes. They know they are poorer and worse off today than they were under Mahama. And they know that this government doesn't care. They are not honest. They are not sensitive to their plight. And that is why in the midst of this suffering, the president can even build a statue of himself, okay, at an uncompleted project site to insult our sensibilities. They know. And I have no doubt in my mind. You see, the tsunami that is happening across the world against incumbents, Ghana's own will be special. You saw what happened in America not too long ago? Oh, Ghana's own will be special. The MPP, like their own Prophet Owusu says, no one will say, when you get power, you must use it to better the lives of your people. You must use it to serve your people. You must not use the power to enrich yourself, your children, and your side chicks at the expense of the innocent taxpayer. They know those who are paying betting levy, e-levy, baller levy, COVID levy, all those, they know that John Mahama is the surest bet to seeing the abolishment of these taxes. Look, I will end on this note, Doc. Do you know what even breaks my heart as a Ghanaian? The sense of hopelessness and joblessness in the country. Look, today, Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana, Kufuor's Ghana, Atamel's Ghana, John Mahama's Ghana. Today we are losing businesses to Togo. Businesses are leaving Ghana, not to America, but to Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire. As I speak to you, Big Pen has left. Jumia Foods has left Ghana. Okay? Lipton Tea has left Ghana. Dark and Lovely has left. Nivea has left. Glovo has left Ghana. There is one I have here. Unilever Ghana, their tea production facility, left to Nigeria. Okay? What is the other one? Game has left. Countless businesses. And these are even the foreign ones leaving. As for the local ones, which have been brought to their knees, because of high inflation, because of the free fall of the cedi and the high dollar rates, because of high tax payments. We can't even count them. The people they have killed through their bad policies of DDEP. And worst of it all, the water bodies they have destroyed. And I have said, every spirit in water will fight these people. Nature will judge them. And everything in water will judge them. If you travel to Western region, you won't see today even one clean river body. I taught out of the 18, I taught 16 constituencies in the Western region with Honorable Atufosen. And what I was looking for was the water bodies. All of them looking coffee brown. And at some point, when I got to the bridge just before Shama, they call it Beposu or so, I came out of my car, I looked at the water, and I wept. These people, these nation wreckers, they want to be re-elected. Right. No, Ghanaians do better. Okay. So let them tickle themselves and laugh.
So then I'm about to say something very important.
Yes, please.
Our time is fast spent, but I can't end the program this way. So I'm going to give each of you 5 minutes, and I'll be very strict about it. 5 minutes, and then we end the show. So, Ernest.
I thought Sammy has said it all. So, because there's no time, I'll be fast. Sammy made certain assertions on the economy, and unfortunately, I don't know whether he slipped, but when he got to trying to justify why they are GDP and all that, Sammy, you didn't check the numbers. The numbers I was quoting are non-oil. So your response did not match what I said. All the numbers I gave are non-oil. Go and check the data. I know why I did non-oil. And then the final ones, I referenced something else. I have all the data here. I know why I did that. Then you were talking and said Dumso was the cause of your GDP, your growth numbers coming down. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Now who caused them? Who really, really inflicted the 4 years of light off on the people of Ghana? Just before you took office. Who was in Dumso before you took office? Unfortunately, you created a problem. You took us through this unfortunate situation, and you are talking about collapsed businesses. Really? Unfortunately, just unfortunate. What Dumso did to Ghana, to the extent that you yourself has alluded to the fact that we lost so much money. And Sammy, please, I will appeal to you. Speak to your economists and when we are analyzing when you just spoke about growth, and because you realize that with growth you are very weak, you now begin to look at the various factors within the growth, and you are pick and choosing. So he is choosing the weaker one. He said industry grew like this one grew like this. It was when you finish aggregating them that we gave you the numbers. The numbers you see on the World Bank website is aggregate, total. So if this one didn't do well and this one did very well, when you put it together, the balance is there for everybody to see. So when you went, you realized that the aggregate is not helping you, then you went and took production, went and took this, went and took that, and then you started talking about them. We can't talk about each one of them, otherwise we will not live here. Doc, there's a lot he said on the economy. They were all lies. Lie, and lie. Interest rates. He quoted for 36%, right? I just checked. GCB is doing 26%. Yesterday I was at my own bank. They are even negotiating the interest rate. I was at my own bank, Fidelity Bank. And they are negotiating the interest rate.
The rate is what?
The rate.
At
what
Fidelity,
they mentioned a number. At Fidelity they are doing 25. And they are ready to negotiate. Mm-hmm. They are ready to negotiate. What the lady told me yesterday. So they are going to call me back to tell me what they have looked at the numbers.
25 is the advertised number.
25 is the advertised, what the lady told me yesterday. Okay. Look, I just quoted GCB. People are doing 20%. Is he not? Are you sure Sami is not aware? He's just being disingenuous.
That GCB quotes 20% as interest rate.
CBG.
They quote 20%.
No, 26. Rate. They are quoting 26. What I'm saying is, these people are quoting 26. Yesterday, I was at the bank, and they are ready to even negotiate whatever they have quoted downwards for me. So they are going to call me today. All I am saying is that Samik sits here, and he thinks your show is for to come and display words that he has acquired overnight, or he has read in books and just using words, using unprintable language on everybody. It's unfortunate. We didn't come here to just speak English. We came here to educate the people. Some of the language he's using, I believe most of our viewers are appalled by it by now. But to be sincere with you, he lied on interest rates. He spoke about nurses' allowances that they said what? What is he saying? We haven't paid. Doc, what I'm saying, I will repeat it. There is no sector under them or before them that the bank of the Ministry of Finance has paid up. It's never happened. In fact, under them, as for DACF that he was referencing, it was a total mess under them. So there's never been. And let me tell you, he quoted, I'm just touching on the things because he said so many things, I cannot address all. He spoke about 900 metric tons of cocoa. When was that? Can you remember the date?
Is that 2016, 2017 crop season? That's what he said.
The cocoa that he was referencing, that cocoa might have been planted a period of time. By the time we are talking now, most of them have overgrown.
No,
so
the
cocoa board,
he was specific.
Cocoa
He said
had
2016,
come.
2017.
That is the
Are you
yield.
disputing the figure?
No, I'm not disputing the figure. The yield that went up, those cocoa trees that were yielding at that level, as we are speaking in 2024, most of them have been cut down and they are now replanting. When you are replanting, we are thinking that is futuristic. We are thinking of tomorrow. You will not leave the worn-out cocoa trees on the farms. When the cocoa farmers begin to get less money than they are getting, they will cut the cocoa and plant something else. So if you want them to maintain it, now the cocoa trees that have been worn out, they have outlived their years, have been cut down. And for the cocoa farmers to earn something, the cocoa board has supported them to plant plantain. So all I am saying is that at a point in time...
On what basis does the cocoa board make its projections? Is it not aware of grown or worn out trees or overgrown trees? But is the cocoa board not the one who's engaged in that exercise?
No, the question I thought you were going to ask was that why are we not expanding the farm so that when we are cutting down these
you didn't listen
but
to
the
my question.
cocoa board, I understood your question.
Who makes
the planning?
The production projections, who makes them? Is it not the cocoa board?
The cocoa board.
Yes.
So they are telling you that at a point in time,
all
the trees that are worn out are taken off.
All the projections they have made, at least the last 4 years, they have not been able to achieve.
So what I'm saying is, if you realize, when we did hand pollination and other interventions in the cocoa sector, they helped. But you realize that the cocoa trees are yielding less. What will you do as a government? Leave the cocoa trees that are yielding less? I am not answering the question. I'm telling the people what will account for a reduced number, and at a point in time, the cocoa that we are replanting.
The reduced number must be reflected in the projections made by the cocoa board, because it's the cocoa board that is superintending it. So it's cocoa board that knows that because we have this situation, we will not be able to give X, we will give Y. Why would the cocoa board be consistently giving figures that is unable to even make 60 or 70% of?
Okay.
Is it deliberately to lie to us?
No, I was addressing, you see, because you said there is no time. I'm touching on what Sami said. Sami gave numbers. Now I'm telling him that at a point in time, those numbers were there because of an earlier intervention.
By?
The kind of intervention, at the latter end of President Kufuor's era, we did a lot of replacement of these cocoa trees. Then when they came, the program continued. The program did not truncate when President Kufuor left. So that is why the yield by 2016, within the next 6 to 8 years, you realize that the cocoa production went up. It was because somebody made a decision earlier. So at that time, the yield was not 9 point.
How come 8 years on, we have a retrogression?
The retrogression is as a result of the current intervention also. The current intervention is that we are replacing old trees. But that is not, you see, what I wanted to point out here is that as we are speaking, the cocoa farmer who had, let's say the total had 900 and something, how much did he earn? Let's say you got 1 bag of cocoa then. How much did you earn? How much could you spend that money on? And I heard, was it Sami or one of his team members I saw using cocoa, the amount you earn to represent the number of bags of cement. So I want to give him back their own analysis. Under you, in 2016, when you are giving these numbers, how many bags of cement was the cocoa farmer buying from the money you were paying them? He wasn't able to spend that money on even 20 bags of cement. It's about 10 or 15 thereabout. That's the analysis they did. That's why I'm remaining there. Today, he's buying up to 30. Because if even we use cement as 100 cedis and he's getting over 3,000, he's buying more than 30 bags of cement today, when he could buy 10 to 15 under you. So what I'm saying is, the analysis they themselves do flaws them. It doesn't help them. The cement bag that you were making about, go and check how the cocoa farmer is jumping into the sky and he is happy because he could buy more under you. So if you got even 900 and buy, let's say he was buying 10 then, and now he's buying 30 then, he's way better off than what he's doing now. Moreover, now the new intervention is giving him plantain to go and sell, is giving him some stipends because Cocoa Board is supporting them to replant and expand their farms and all that. They are doing better than you think you did. He touched also
and wrap up on that.
And that's why I didn't want to. We went veered off. You give me a few minutes.
I have accounted for my interaction with
yes.
you.
So okay. So in his submission, he mentioned that Nanado hasn't been able to build one hospital, start and complete. So I mean, you are being very disingenuous. Very, very, very. I don't want to use your kind of words. I don't like that. But Sammy, I am telling you, we have done over 36 start to complete. I'll mention it for the people of Ghana right now. Over 36 start to complete hospitals. And then the ones you left in the bush, like I did educate you on the e-blogs, the ones you left in the bush, we have also completed more than 10, over 10 completed the ones that you left. But this question, Doc, this question of the NDC saying, he said John Mahama started project. He said so and so started project. If we go into that angle, you remember there was a time I was saying, then the NDC will not have anything to talk about.
Right. Okay.
The UGMC he's talking about, oh, he wanted to know, Sami wanted to be educated on the hospitals. I will end here. The things are many, but I didn't have time. Akontombra, you know that a hospital was started and completed there, Bogoso, Elubo, Poho. As he spoke, people started sending. They already have the list.
Right.
People who are there are the people sending. Doc, I'll mention like 10 so that the people of Ghana will know we are not lying. If you go to Somenya, it's done. Weta, Wasadunkwa, Nshaim, Mpoho, Elubo, Tolong, Sola, Wipe, Bamboy, Swami, Chedie, Sabronum, Drobonso, Manson Quanta, Mim, Nkwentia. Look, Sammy, go and.
So
I believe you prepared before you come.
District hospitals that
started and completed.
So they are in use.
But this are even for the people of Ghana to appreciate the good work the Ministry of Health, the government of Ghana had done. Sammy,
thank you.
The Agenda 111
Sammy,
is all going. Doc, I'm ending here. The Agenda 111 is almost completed. Those ones that they have completed are more than 20.
Okay.
Look,
and we are commissioning them.
No, the hospitals he mentioned, Mpoho, Google Mpoho Hospital, Akontomra, they are all Agenda 111 hospital. And none completed as we speak today.
Sammy, please.
So please don't lie.
People who are there,
people are watching you.
Are you there?
Can you
when was the last time you went?
I am quiet.
No, when you are lying, I couldn't
you want to banter me. I won't banter you. So allow me to talk.
Dog, I heard you
talk about
here.
Look, anybody watching me,
Nah.
Google Mpoho District Hospital or Akontombra, all the names he mentioned, go back.
You check.
And Google. None has been completed. The Agenda 111 hospital, none completed and operational. It's a lie. So don't lie.
If I did, you won't allow.
Please, can I make my point?
If I did, you
then
won't
you
allow
see,
me. So
when he's talking, he says that Sami has lied. And if he started on that note, when you say that they have lied, they don't respect Ghanaians, they have been reckless, they have acted criminally in printing money illegally, that is derogatory. That use of words. Well, I'm not here to please anybody or to use words that are suiting to your insensitive ears. I'm here to speak the truth as it is. Number one, Doc, he says that interest rate is 26%. Really?
He mentioned the banks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned the bank.
Doc, What is the MPR rate?
In fact, the Bank of Ghana rate, what's it?
The monetary policy rate. This is Bank of Ghana's website, real time. Google it, 27%. And the monetary policy rate is the rate at which the Bank of Ghana lends to the commercial bank, 27. Now, the basic interest rate. And
when he finishes,
what is this?
Please go on. We don't have time. We don't have time.
Go ahead. Don't be frustrated. Where is the frustration coming from?
Number two, apart from the monetary policy rate, which is the rate at which the Bank of Ghana lends to the commercial bank, not the rate at which the commercial bank will lend to an individual or their customer, being 27%, meaning clearly that he lied. Interest rates cannot be lower than the monetary policy rate.
The bank.
Okay. The Ghana reference rates, which is also the fixed interest rate that the Bank of Ghana gives the commercial banks, and then they then add or subtract their premium, is 28.8%. Okay, so there are banks that are lending at 30% and above. It depends on the facility you're going for, whether it is secured or unsecured and all that. But if you look at the monetary policy rates and you look at the Ghana reference rates, interest rates cannot be 26%. You can't say that lending rates averagely is 26%. That is what. Number two, Dumso, he's talking about Dumso. I did not even attribute the 3.4% growth rate in 2016 to Dumso, because by 2016 we had fixed Dumso. And Bawumia acknowledged that in an interview on Joy FM in March of 2016, when he said that Mahama deserves no credit for fixing Dumso. So he acknowledged that Mahama fixed the problem. You see, the essence of leadership is not that there will not be challenges. The essence of true leadership is that even when there are challenges, leaders will accept responsibility for those challenges, fix it within the time frame they provide the citizenry. Dumso, everybody knows, even the children knows, was an inherited problem. It was a problem of demand of power outstripping supply due to years of non-investment in power generation. It was also a problem of non-supply of fuel in the form of gas, because the West African gas pipeline, which was giving our power plants gas at the time, had an accident, had a technical fault, for which reason we were not getting gas flowing from Nigeria to power those plants. So that, coupled with the non-investments in generation over the years, was what led to Dumso. This is right, everybody knows that. Mahama did not blame his predecessors, he did not blame global factors. He took responsibility, promised to fix it, and he fixed it through the fastest and biggest mobilization of emergency power ever seen in the history of Ghana. So much so that today, his opponents, the MPP, blame him for giving them excess power, that they don't know what to do with it. So you can't use Dumso to malign Mahama again. With what he did with Dumso, Ghana should have never returned to Dumso. Because apart from giving us power, more than we even needed, power that we could, he made provision for exports, okay, through the Gridco project that we're doing with the AFDB facility, building a pipeline from here to the Sahel countries and all that. Apart from that, he gave us the biggest factory in the history of Ghana, started by Mills, completed by him, $1 billion, a Tuabo gas processing plant, employing many Ghanaians today, to ensure that we saved $300 million that we would have used every year to import gas. Now we get it locally. Mahama gave us that. Gave us ESLA, which at the time we were leaving office was giving this government averagely 3 billion cedis per annum. It has given these guys over 24 billion since they came into office. But they have misused the process of ESLA. And if should they have applied ESLA for its intended purpose, Dumso would have been a thing of the past, because the legacy debts would have been cleared. In addition to all that, he got us the power compact, what we call Compact 2, where the Americans gave us $480 million to transform ECG, so that Dumso will be a thing of the past. Through your greed, your selfishness, and your unbridled corruption, Bawumia supervised what is now known as the PDS scam. And because of that, we lost $190 million from the Americans. If you aggregate all the monies we lost from them, according to the IEA, we lost over $2 billion because of that. So today, if ECG is struggling, it is because of Bawumia, who supervised the PDS scam that deprived us of $190 million, which would have been used to stabilize ECG and all that. And today we know the truth, that Dumso is bad. Okay. Now finally on Cocoa Doc. Finally on Cocoa Doc. Look, this will talk about the cocoa you harvest today was planted. Why? Simple.
Harvest cocoa.
Under this government, they chopped 1 million tons of cocoa. He doesn't even know. So that cocoa to John Mama planted it. So John Mama should take the credit.
Does it mean
John Mama
that
bequeathed to
cocoa
you
was planted
almost 1 million tons?
What year?
When you came in, we did not see this sharp decline. It came to 800,000, 900. Then it shot back to 1 million. And you were celebrating. You didn't give the credit to Mahama because Mahama planted the trees.
No, the intervention
today that production volume
it doesn't
or
mean
output
the trees were
has declined to 420. You are saying that it is Mahama who didn't plant good trees for you, and that you are cutting. Look,
we are replacing
cocoa farmers that they were doing cocoa rehabilitation program.
Exactly.
Cut down the trees of cocoa farmers. They didn't pay them the compensation. They didn't plant it as they promised. They stopped. What were you expecting when you stopped the distribution of free fertilizer? What were you expecting when you stopped distributing?
Are you saying the trees were not planted? Go to the board and check. When you are coming on a show like this, you prepare. You go and prepare because Doc,
you are talking about preparation.
Your intervention did not allow me to touch on two big issues. The two big issues.
You had your time. Let me conclude.
You finished.
Let me conclude.
Doc is finished.
Let me conclude.
But the 49 schools you say were built is a lie. I have sent the data to display.
If John Mahama,
you mentioned 7.9.
Can you stop making noise? You were giving your time. You couldn't even express yourself.
To go up and I'm begging
you couldn't even express yourself when you were giving
I couldn't express myself when you lie.
I gave you the opportunity.
Let me make my point.
Yes, I was touching on the thing. And
I don't like to engage in a shouting match with you. That's what you MPP guys like. Look, Doc, he says that cocoa farmers are better off today. Look, if under John Mahama, cocoa output was 967,000 metric tons. And today, we are even struggling to get 420,000 metric tons. What this means, commonsensically, that the cocoa farmer who under Mahama was getting 100 bags of cocoa per year from his farm, today will struggle to get even 40 bags. But if Mahama was in place, he would have been getting that 100 bags.
I like the way some of your additions are terrible.
Do you know?
What is the rate of loss? You calculate the percentage loss
output
and then calculate.
At that significant level, what does it mean? It means that the cocoa farmer has lost more than half of the cocoa he would have gotten at the end of the season. He has also lost more than half of the income that would have come to him or her. So please,
your analysis of the numbers are
stop deceiving yourself. And all I will say, in conclusion is this. All I will say, in conclusion is that, look, 7 December is just 23 days away. When you take your ballot paper, that's all I will say.
Okay. All right. Well, today happens to be the 69th birthday of a man who got involved in politics and governance very early. I'm told straight from the university. Okay. But he's 69 today already. As I held many portfolios in the Republic of Ghana. And I'm speaking about Mr. Kofi Totobi Kwachi. He's 69 today.
I need to wish him happy birthday.
69th birthday. So happy birthday.
The great
to you.
And original KTK.
So started as a student activist.
Yeah.
Is now a statesman, so to speak. Next year,
and one of the best brains we in the NDC boast of when it comes to communication and political strategy. And I'm so blessed to have known him at a very
people like this have gone beyond their parties now.
So. Yeah, it's one of the greatest assets that the nation has. I'm so blessed to have known him. But look, I just got a message from. I just got a message. You know,
on some of the things like Sammy and people.
You know what I got here? Lending rate for unsecured. Stanbic Bank 36.8.
That's okay.
That's your bank.
All right.
But the rates don't cut.
All right. Up next, Metro Sports.
Good business means